all go a little mad sometimes.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
They're here.
Hi, I'm Lee, and I want to be in the sequel again.
And I'm Nathan, and I want to be in the requel.
And you're listening to
They're Here!
Podcast
A discussion
and dissection
of all things horror,
fear.
and macabre. We finally got it right.
We've been
We actually
doing
didn't
for
fuck it up.
3 years now, you know.
We're back!
We're back.
We're back!
We're back with a sequel that you enjoyed.
Yes. Yeah. I kind of don't know how to do it. Like, if you're a long-time listener, you know Nathan is not, I repeat, not a believer in sequels. But I did actually enjoy this film.
Yay! Okay, I think it's very, very hard. We're talking about Scream 6.
Scream 6.
I think it's very hard to stay consistent in a series, especially all the way up until 6, now 7.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know. It's just I'm like very proud of this series. I think it's done very well. It's earned like 48 million in opening weekend alone, which is more than half of Scream 5's total gross.
God damn.
Yeah, she's doing good.
I gotta say, it says something when it comes to a franchise that has survived this long, over 20 years now.
26.
And it's like, it's doing so well, and it's still strong, apart from maybe a slight dive in the middle, in my opinion, that is still doing so well. So, in my opinion, it was
impressively cunty.
to be alive this long.
It was. It
Just won't die, like me.
I'll say right off the top, I enjoyed this more than 5. But I think that's kind of natural. Like with 5, a lot of it was like reintroduction. We're getting to know people again, and they're kind of starting fresh.
Yeah.
You know? So
Before-
just hats off to Radio Silence. For real.
Yeah.
I think they really, really killed it.
They are
No pun
they're definitely hacking and slashing their way back into the horror genre, you know. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I think we even said this the last time. Sorry, we should actually just bookend this by saying spoiler alert. We're a week behind, but just in case you haven't watched it, we are going full on spoilers. We don't care what you think. If you haven't watched it, stop listening to us now, go watch it, and then come back. Okay. What was I saying?
I don't know. I don't know fucking know.
I do think, yeah, you're right. The fact, I think we did speak briefly on this the last time when we were talking about 5, is that the franchise, it doesn't pose itself as anything other than a simple hack and slash movie.
Yeah.
It's not trying to be overly smart like some horror movies A24 are trying to be, and not that there's nothing wrong with that, but I just think the simplicity of Scream is in its like third and fourth wall breaks, you know. That's where it does well, and that's, I think, the reason why people keep coming back to it, you know?
Exactly. It's like, to quote the first movie, it's a very simple formula. You know, like, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
You know? And I do think, like, that's what I said to Ash today. We went to go see this with Aisling, our friend. That, like, this series has managed to stay so consistent without feeling stale. You know? Even, like, rewatching them, like, every year I'll kind of do, like, once I'll just like watch all the Scream movies like back to back to back, and it still doesn't feel like, oh, this again.
One is a carbon copy of the other.
Exactly. They still manage to like keep it fresh, and even with this new trilogy kind of building off the back of the original trilogy, it still doesn't feel like, oh, they're doing the exact same thing again. Yeah. You know? And I think at first I was very, very kind of skeptical, and so was the cast of the original trilogy, of coming back to Scream like after Wes Craven had died, and kind of without Kevin Williamson, even though he kind of co-wrote the last movie. I think it's actually to the movie's benefit to have fresh like management on it, you know, because it doesn't feel so carbon copy. Just like, because even with 5, I was kind of like, it doesn't like feel like a Scream movie for some reason, but I feel like this one kind of made me love 5 more.
It
as
made
like
you
a
look
connector.
at it with like kind of fresh eyes and shit.
Exactly, because I wasn't coming into it with... I came into this with no expectations. I think we both did very well this time. I watched the first initial trailer, and that was it.
Yes, I completely avoided... apart from that train sequence teaser, and then that one kind of photograph that was shown around the world of like all the Ghostface costume collection.
That was unmissable. We're in the horror community.
Yeah, I just like completely ignored any, and I mean any, interviews, trailers, final trailers, teasers, 10 seconds, here's the new trailer now, starting now, bullshit. I avoided all of that. You even went off of like, you turned off like Reddit accounts and shit.
Anything I followed to do with Scream, I left the Woodsboro Film Club on Facebook.
Hey, how you doing?
Seriously, I didn't want any expectations coming out of this, because I think that was my only thing I didn't like about 5, was because I built it up so much in my head, because I had like watched all the trailers, I had watched all cast interviews, everything I could like take in about the movie, and then
this franchise is your baby, so you're naturally going to be looking at it with a much more critical eye, analytical in your approach.
Hard. Exactly. I'm always like entering a new Scream since 4 came out. I'm always entering in kind of do your best, like do what you will. But I'm still kind of yet to be like super let down by this series. Hats off to Radio Silence, because you can really tell they're fans of the series. Like they have a lot of love for it. They're not trying to like make it a whole new thing, and watching their other movies, Ready or Not, I was kind of trying to watch that movie again through the lens of like, okay, could I imagine this like a Scream movie? And I couldn't, but like, then again, like they're completely different. So yeah, I think the series is in good hands. And Scream 7 has already been greenlit.
Yes, so this is something that I'm excited about to hear, because again, I'm guessing there is an overarching theme with what they're trying to do. And I can appreciate it, because they're looking at it in the long term. They're not just looking at it from movie to movie to movie, which Scream 4 technically was.
It is. It's its own.
It's its own self-contained.
Kind of
Yeah.
They would have continued on actually, and it kind of would have been this in a way, where Jill originally was supposed to survive that movie and go on to college, and she was supposed to be kind of being blackmailed by another Ghostface killer. So it would have kind of been slightly what we got in this movie, where it's two sets of killers, or two killers working independently of each other. But yeah, so do you want to just dive right in? Yes.
Very quickly, at the sort of premise of this, we watched this in 4D.
Oh, it's so good.
It was...
Your first 4D movie.
First 4D experience. I popped my cherry with it. It was sort of a mixed bag for me doing that.
Yeah.
But I had fun. I loved the rocking sensations, the kind of like the splatters every time someone would die.
Yeah,
it was pretty good. And the only thing I will say, me and Ashley kind of copped up on this, was like there was this weird, anytime, the way there was of air by your ears, we would get this sort of weird gone off like
plasticky smell kind of.
Yeah, plasticky smell. And like it was just like at some points, like me and her were just holding our, I don't know whether we got bad seats or something.
No, that's just what it smells like.
Yeah, it just did not smell nice.
Because it's like aerated around the whole room as well. Like you kind of can't just like,
you can't avoid it.
Bob and weave from it. Yeah,
it was just strange, and but other than that, I enjoyed it. Would I do it again? Yeah, sure. I think it was, for how much do we pay? What, like 17 quid for it?
Yeah,
for those extra like 4 or 5 extra euro. It was a good experience for what it was.
It added to it. Now, when we sat down, you sat down with 2 drinks, and the biggest one was on my side. Yeah. And what did I say to you? I was like, okay, before this fucking movie starts, I'm going to need you to take a huge gulp of this Coke. Okay, because if this shit ends up all over me, I'm going to storm out. But
you were straight up.
Yes, seriously. I don't know. I thought the 4D really added.
I didn't just buy one. I bought 2 fucking drinks.
So there's 2 cup holders for a reason.
They knew I was coming.
But no, it was good. Now the 3D in this was gorgeous.
Yes.
I didn't think it was going to do much for the movie because I don't think it was filmed in 3D. No. But like it added every once in a while in a 3D movie, I'll kind of take off the glasses just to like contrast and compare. But I was like, it adds a lot of depth to it.
Yes.
Because they're outside for a lot of this movie. They're on the streets of Toronto, by the way, which is like the poor man's New York. They did film in New York at certain points but that's like a famous thing. It's like people always film in Toronto if they don't want to actually film in New York. Because it's a whole hell of a lot cheaper to shut down a street in Toronto than it is in New York. But no, I thought like even a couple of the kills, we'll get to the ladder kill, that when they like peek over and they show that like bird's eye view, I was like, whoa, like the 3D really, really added to it. I will say, I think this is one of the better shot Scream movies. I think it's really beautiful. I would agree with you in a certain sense. I like how some of the sweeping shots of the New York, which is what I was hoping for. I wasn't looking for self-contained moments. I was looking for if your whole schmatza is New York, then show me fucking New York. Exactly. Give me crowds of people with Ghostface in them and you getting fucking stalked by him. Like, because the whole point of that is to say, like, even though you are in a street crowded with people, you're still on your own. Exactly. Like there is, like, I think you even said it was a great drawback to think of Trick or Treat, where your one is getting murdered in the alleyway and they just walk right by her because they think she's drunk. And Helen Shivers in I Know What You Did Last Summer. Mm-hmm. Yes, like, exactly. Out on the street, you know. Yeah. I think like with New York, if you're filming in New York, you have to kind of make New York a character too. Yes. You know, like you don't go to New York for no reason. Nobody is just. Movies don't just happen to take place in New York. You know, there's always some shot of the Empire State or Statue of Liberty or whatever. Like you go to those landmarks for a reason. On wet ground. And there's always wet streets. Like for whatever reason. Well, this movie takes place during the 3 days leading up to and on Halloween, which I think they could have leaned into a little stronger, but also I don't know how they would have utilized it more without being like, it's Halloween. Yeah, you know, because like pumpkins everywhere, people in costumes, which we'll get to. Fucking so many of them. It was great. I don't know how many times where they'd be out in public and we're like, it's a Candyman. Yeah, it's Samara. You know, it's Pennywise. It's Georgie. There was a great shot of like that scene with Mindy on the train where we're looking at costumes and there's a Ghostface and a Michael Myers right next to each other. Yeah. That's so cool. Just because again, those two series have always been so closely tied to. Like I feel like Scream is like the little 90s sister of Halloween. You know, but this movie. Should we get into... I think we should first of all talk about how our speculations were. Because this is something that I think would be a great way to sort of jumping off from, because we had our... At the time, they were speculations. And again, this is full-on spoiler warning. I'm about to spoil this movie. Lee is about to spoil this movie. If you haven't watched it... Can we talk about the opening and then lead into this spoiler? Yeah, go for it. Okay. Go for it. So I feel spoiler fucking warning now. So I straight feel up. Like the opening is... Like, it's a thing that, like, with every movie, but I feel like with Scream in particular, the opening is a big deal. I also didn't know Samara Weaving was in this movie. That's one thing I did know. I was like, holy shit, it's her. Because we're in the horror community, it's kind of, it's impossible to escape these things. Now, last year when casting was announced, this is before I was even thinking of spoilers, she was on set kind of a good little bit, so I thought she would be in this more. We also had kind of, I had heard tell that she might have been like the new Gale, that she was going to be like a reporter or something, so when she showed up in the opening, I was kind of like, oh shit. Like they're going straight into it. Yeah. Now she's the Casey Becker of Scream 6 now. Now this opening, I thought it was so clever. I thought it was so cool. It's beautiful. So Samara Weaving is Laura Crane, reference to Marion Crane in Psycho. She's a horror theory teacher at Blackmore College or Blackmore University, and she specializes in slashers. That's so cool. It's like how she was talking major on the phone, in slashers. Like, she's speaking our language. Yeah. You know, again, it's a Scream series, so they're very, very self-aware. Like they're always talking to people who who speak that language.
Yeah.
You know? But just, like, even, like, I don't know, anytime I see, like, and she was also dressed in lime green, where I'm kind of like, is that a reference to Gail? Mm-hmm. Maybe, possibly. But just, I thought it was so cool. This opening was so clever. So she gets a call.
As one does in a Scream movie.
In public, though.
Yes.
She's in public. And she's talking to one of her students.
She's stood up, basically. Or she's beginning to get this feeling that she's being stood up by this guy. And she's brought outside because she has to give him directions, and she's led across the street. There are people walking around in costumes, so you're getting feeling like this is like Halloween weekend, or at least Halloween adjacent.
It's 2 days before.
And the only thing I will say that, like, out of this entire film, the one jump scare that I got was, I think she turns around suddenly and she gets startled by a bunch of kids running across the street or something like that.
Yeah, there's a group of people in costume.
Purely the only time that I actually jumped in this movie, but it was fantastically set up.
Yeah.
Because, like, you were expecting, like, him to... Which Ghostface eventually does. He does jump out at her from the side. But, like, you were expecting Ghostface, and all you got was some kids.
Yeah.
And I was so ready to jump that I fully just, like, bolted upright because of it.
I was so anxious for this because, like, again,
how are they going to do it? What's it going to work like?
Exactly.
Like, how is the smart going to work?
Me, where it's just like, okay, because I feel like I judge
because the opening kill, the opening kill
know?
sets up the sort of tone for the movie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like with 4, because 4 is like 2 fake outs, and then, which I also thought was really clever, but then, like, I don't know, I was kind of felt a little bit left down by 4's opening, so I feel like that kind of set a tone for me. But with this, again, so she's meeting one of her students for a date. Kind of. I think that was kind of like a grey area where it was like, does she think she's on the phone to Jason, or does she think she's on the phone to another student and he's just doing the voice or whatever like that?
She gets the feeling that she's getting played.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as she leaves the restaurant, or at least the viewer does. From a perspective,
I think so, because
you know?
she's kind of sitting there and she's kind of like tapping her foot and kind of like you get it that she's been there for a while. And he's like, oh, I'm lost or whatever. And she also, like, Samara Weaving is Australian, but, like, I feel like she played the fuck out of her accent. Like, her accent was so... Arnar, it's Ghostface.
Joller.
So, Ghostface, and this is why I'm not bothered by Ghostface kind of jumping out of nowhere, because I'm like, it's the city. There's literally millions of places to hide and just kind of skulk around in. So she's, like, right in the middle of this alley, and Ghostface just comes the fuck out of nowhere and just the
stabs the
this
fuck out of her.
Brutal, dude.
Yeah.
And even there's a shot of her heels where she's kind of lifted up off the ground a little bit, where it's just like, oh shit, he's really gone to town. And then
get it? Because he's in New York.
And then what is it? Because they're talking about the restaurant is red on the outside, and there's like red signage and stuff. So she's asking him, like, do you see something red? Da, 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 da. And he's like, now I see something red. And then he just slashes her across the face. But this is one of my favorite shots from possibly the whole series. Of
you grabbed me.
Yes.
Because I think we sort of, because the shot lingers on Ghostface a little longer than what would happen, it stays on him.
It's gorgeous. And I think it's actually the first time we've seen a Ghostface mask splattered with blood. Because for some reason the Ghostface mask is nearly always pristine.
It's been chrome. It's been pride coloured.
We did get that, and it's one of those really cheap, hard, like fronted ones. Yeah. Like it's not the rubber. But just that shot. I had also seen this shot of Ghostface standing like that as a promo shot, because again, it's unmissable. But it just lingers on Ghostface, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool.
Full on grabbed me.
And then he leans down and takes the mask off.
Yeah.
And a killer is revealed in the opening scene.
Yeah.
So we get Jason, obviously a reference to Jason Takes Manhattan. And then we just follow him through. This is the first time where the opening scene goes
takes it back from
straight into the movie.
The Ghostface.
There's no title card for now.
Yeah.
You know? And then he meets up with Tara and is asking about Sam.
Straight up just waltzes by. Yeah.
And this is literally like right by the college. You know, like they're like kind of within walking distance. He just walks straight home. So I just thought that was so clever, and just I was kind of like, okay. I'm very happy
But
with
this was
having
a speculation.
revealed.
This was a speculation that you had from the previous movie. You said the way I remember, like, I swear to God, you know what I'm gonna do is the speculations that we had in our last episode, I'm gonna put them up on the pod. I'm gonna put them up on the Insta because, like, they were speculations and we straight up called it.
They were right.
You know, we were right. We were fucking right.
It's just kind of, they reverse engineered a Scream movie. Mm-hmm. You know, I thought it was so fucking clever. Yeah. Oh my God, I didn't bring my plug. God. Oh, I did.
God damn it.
Can you pause?
I can.
Yeah, I just thought the idea of, like, how are they going to switch up the series and not make it a completely different type of movie? So I think the idea of, like, reverse engineering a Scream movie is very, very smart. Because I would have been happy if these were our killers.
Yes.
Knowing that, like, every time he's in a scene with somebody, just be like, oh shit. Like, it's knowing that the killer is there for sure. I think, like, really, really would have added something. Yeah. You know?
I do think it was also the prediction, because it does play out in the very next scene, which, can I just say, his apartment is fucking great.
It is. He has a last podcast so on the left poster.
I love it.
And, like, a stab closet and stuff. Yeah. And he's watching Jason Takes Manhattan. Mm-hmm. And he's talking about, like, the reason he killed her is because she failed him on his Jell-O paper. I loved it so much.
I think he's sucking the ghost of Suspiria's dick a little too much, bro.
Yeah. Well, like,
it's great, but we get it. Like, would you write an entire paper on it?
I mean, we made a whole 2-hour episode on it.
We sure did. We sure fucking did.
It's also the subject of our... Like, Jell-O was the first subject of our first, like, hate comment, where somebody was like, this is not a fucking Jell-O. And it's like...
We see you. Listen. We know what you were thinking.
But yeah, just he gets into this apartment and his TV is in the fireplace. I thought that looked really, really cool. But yeah, he's watching Jason Takes Manhattan, which you kind of have to... You have to call that out in this movie.
Of course.
Because, like, it's... I think it's the first one to do, like, takes the big city. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's the first one to do a big, like...
Of the modern era, like I suppose.
Yeah. Like, it's probably, like, kind of one of the only ones I can actually think of.
Yeah. We actually had this discussion a while ago, which was the posters, because... For Scream 6, they have been so fucking blasé about their posters. They're kind of not the best.
No, I also didn't like 5 either.
No. If you were going to... kind of the whole point of this film was that Ghostface takes Manhattan. Yeah. If you're going to do it, like, give me an I Love NY
like Ghostface
thing with Ghostface hanging over it, or like camp it up. Like, for Christ's sake, we know exactly what you're referencing. Why not just take the opportunity and camp it up for it? Like, you know, and then surprise us, because the tone of this film and the intensity of this film was so threatening and dark. Like, why not just camp it up for the poster? You know, make effort. That was very much like a 20-30 minute Photoshop job. They just like, let's fuck all the people onto it. Ghostface is there. Neve Campbell. And then like the only thing I did think was actually quite good was the Ghostface cape draping down the bottom of the poster. I thought that was good, but the rest of it was shit.
Like, I'm very happy with the classic, like, black background, Ghostface in the middle, and then like the cast photo. Yeah. Like, the cast photo's right there. I think it's very simple. It always looks nice. I have the original Scream posters lined up on my wall, and they look nice. Like, it's a nice little collection.
Yeah.
I think actually that might be the poster that I'll throw up on the podcast for this episode, is the Ghostface Takes Manhattan.
Yeah.
Because it's
much better.
It's my favorite one that's come out.
Yeah.
Or I did like how they kind of incorporated Ghostface into, like, the train line poster, kind of like shit like that. I thought some of that was really clever. I just think the actual poster they used was a bit bleh. But so Jason gets a Ghostface call.
So this was another one of our speculations, which turned out to be fucking true.
We called it.
We fucking knew that. Well, I think I'd be more proud of you, because you were the one who initially put the thought in my head that what happens if there's two concurrent Ghostfaces
not working together.
Like, that's a fantastic. I think I even said it to you. I was like, I would immediately. Can you shut up, please? I would immediately go see that fucking Scream movie, because that as a plot line is so fucking interesting.
And I think they could have carried this on further. You know, if we had, like, if if we knew Jason was one of the killers, so it's Jason and Greg.
Mm-hmm.
They're the Ghostface killers up until they're not, you know.
Because we get the sense from Kirby's perspective that there has been, because she investigates Ghostface
Special
killings.
Agent Kirby. When she turned around, I wanted to clack my fan.
Wigorama.
2 wigs. 2.5
Stacked on
wigs,
top.
For real. I wanted to clack my fan and hear high heels on a hardwood floor.
Caca, boom.
Around, I'm pretty sure she like had her feet up on a desk. And
Yeah, she did.
And was like, Special Agent Kirby. I was like, yes, you are. You sure are, girl. But so Jason, which again, great little callback there because he is Jason Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets a Ghostface. Or no, he actually gets a call from Greg.
Yeah,
quote
yeah,
unquote.
I'm sorry, I'm just thinking of an edit of Kirby's wig, like just edited one on top of it.
It gets bigger, you know, like in Scary Movie 4, where the cop's hat gets bigger.
I'm sticking. I know how to Photoshop. I'm gonna make that an edit. I'm gonna stick that up on the Instagram.
She also only wears one outfit for the whole movie. You know, I love her jacket, but change her fucking shirt, girl.
Yeah.
You know, here I am literally saying I want to like throw
She's
flowers
a
at her and,
zygote.
like change her clothes.
Change your clothes, you wicked
Change your
bitch.
costume, change it around. But no, I just, it was so good. So he gets a call from who he thinks is Greg, and he's like, oh, like we said, we wouldn't use the voice modulator on each other. And then he's just going
That's
around.
definitely a kinky code. We said we wouldn't use the voice on each other.
But we're getting a little tour of his apartment, and I'm like, my apartment's totally gonna look like that.
Yeah.
But it's just like there's like horror merch and like paraphernalia and stuff.
I open
everywhere.
up the coat rack and it's just
a Ghostface
Ghostface.
costume, like a Michael like overalls,
Yeah.
you know, a Freddy sweater, you know, a Reagan night dress or whatever.
Oh my god.
But it's so good. So they end up playing like Hot and Cold, where he's like, wait, what is he looking for again? Oh, he's looking for Greg.
For Greg, yeah.
And they have cameras in their apartment. So they're playing Hot and Cold, and it's just Jason walking around this apartment. And again, there's ample opportunity. Like, this apartment is set up in a way where it's like, Ghostface could totally be right there.
Yeah.
Or, like, he walks past, like, a closet door, or, like, walks past a room with the door open where it's all dark on the inside. Mm-hmm. And then he gets in to the kitchen where he's hot. He's like, you're on fire. Or whatever. Opens it up, and it's Greg chopped up like cartel
I love
style.
it. Like
this is also
straight
a
up
Friday
Texas
reference.
Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Like dismembered, like cut into pieces.
Head
shoved into a
lying on a plate.
We did get a beheading.
Curved over. Yeah, we got a beheading. It was great. Loved it.
Now this is also, to me at least, this is a reference to Friday 2, where Alice finds Jason's mother's head in the fridge.
Oh yeah.
And then gets attacked. Mm-hmm. And the dialogue that we get in this is like, who gives a fuck about movies? So it's like, it's not even about movies anymore. It's kind of true crime.
That's when we get the Scream title, isn't it?
That's when we get the Scream
That's
title,
when we
because
get it.
Jason is attacked by our actual Ghostface.
Mm-hmm.
And who gives a fuck about movies? And then is just like stabbed right in the face.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
It's true. And like, now that I think about it, right, I look at it and I think, well, of course, again, spoiler alert, Richie's father, his sister,
father,
and younger brother are the trio of Ghostface killers. We get 3. We get 5 Ghostface killers in this movie.
So confirmed this, well, not confirmed, but by deduction, this is Officer Bailey.
Officer Bailey.
The other 2 are at the party.
Yes,
while this is happening.
This makes sense to me why he says who gives a fuck about movies, because
he doesn't.
It's true crime for him. Just true crime for him. So like, to me, it, like, in hindsight, there's little things that each of the killers do that makes total sense as to why it leads up to who they are at the end. You know what I mean? So this was like the one thing that I was alluding to earlier with you on the phone, was the fact that, wait, hold on, if Jenna Ortega's, you know, character, what's her name again? Tara was dating Richie for how long?
Oh no, Sam.
No, Richie.
No, Sam was dating Richie.
Oh, Sam.
Tara's the younger sister. So
like, here's my thing, right? If if they were dating for so long, she never met his father. She never met his brother.
They were only dating for like a year though.
And you never met his dad.
He never met hers.
True.
Also,
but
we have never,
fuck off.
we have never met hers either. You know, that's one thing I really thought we might
Her
get.
mother.
The mother. I think we're going to get the mother in the 7th movie. We have to.
Sam's mother.
She's been didn't see it coming, did you? No, I didn't, because she's not there. I think they're like, she has to be involved.
Yeah.
You know, or like they have to show us her at least. I would be very, very happy with getting the fucking bitchy cheerleader bitch. Well, no, it has to be somebody who is of the Latin persuasion.
Yes.
You know, it has to be.
Of course it would be. You know, I mean, last name Berrera, last name Ortega, of course it's going to be someone of Latin descent.
Yeah, for real.
Unless they suddenly make Billy Loomis like Billy Loomis's father.
Billy Loomis. A psycho killer. Sorry. I'm going to establish an establishing shot. Sorry. Pero like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Sorry.
Oh.
Okay, stop. Está bien.
Oh my god. Oh, we're gonna get so much pegged for being racist. Anyway.
Sorry.
Oh my god, stop. Okay, so.
That's enough, but it's ESNOUF. You know?
Up!
Okay, better like.
Oh.
Para me. Spooky me. Sorry.
Stop. You better stop. You better stop.
Okay.
Oh.
That's enough.
Oh.
We got it out. No pun intended.
Okay, so shut up.
Stop it. Okay, look, we're gonna have to cut out like 3 minutes of this because it's just so
stupid. Okay, right. Ooh, okay. Okay, right. What were we talking about?
The movie. Okay, so
all right.
Yeah,
okay.
so we go right, like we got the slash. Again, there's a lot of kind of hinting toward. Instantly, we can just stop laughing. So
Dead
there
inside.
is a lot of I don't even know what the fuck I was about to say there. There's a lot of like hinting towards
Tempting.
Yeah, there's a lot of like hinting towards true crime being kind of like the new avenue for this kind of thing. Because like in Jason's apartment, we have a last podcast on the left poster, which is a true crime podcast. Highly recommend. They're they're really
they're
funny.
Great.
And just kind of like the whole setup of the shrine itself, it's all evidence.
Yes.
You know, so all that would have like it's kind of worshipping the crime itself, not the movie based on the crime. You know, so we jump right into a Halloween party, and like I love this as a way to establish new characters, as opposed to just being like, oh, hello, new character, hi, it's me, the new character, and hello, other new character, first and last name, connection to me. You know, like it's a very natural way to just kind of get into it with everybody, and we get to see like the clique as a whole, but then we get to see the like kind of smaller groups within the clique, you know. So there's Annika, Mindy. Annika is the new character. She's also one of my favorites.
Yeah.
She's one of my favorite new characters, but like I don't know, I like really, really liked her. I think like she basically has a whole scene dedicated to herself. We get Quinn, and Ethan. They're the new characters, and then everybody else from the last movie, the core four, they survived.
Oh god,
I liked it. Listen, I don't care.
So one thing that I really did want to point out about this scene is Ethan, right? He's the curly-haired guy. He's the secret ghostface guy, the virgin.
He's the quote-unquote incel.
Yeah. So, like, okay. So I pointed something out to you while that scene was going on, that he was wearing a cardboard armor costume.
Did you find out what it was
I
referenced to?
did.
Okay.
So you're gonna fucking love this. So it's a movie called Murder Party.
Okay.
Right? obviously straight up, as soon as you realize the reference, I probably should have clocked it, because the guy who's wearing this cardboard armor in the movie is a serial killer. And I should have straight up clocked that from the moment I seen it. I was like, I've seen it. Oh, it's a great movie. Very fucking gory.
With Guy.
With Guy wearing cardboard armor. So, like, straight up, this guy in Murder Party is a serial killer.
Yeah.
But he doesn't realize he's at a party for serial killers. So he's hiding the fact that he's a serial killer, but everyone else there is a serial killer as well.
Okay, we must watch that one time.
It's a fantastic movie. It's so gory. You know me, I fucking love gore. And it's not special effects, it's just makeup and fake blood and like guts made of like plastic bags with shit in them. You know, it's great. It's disgustingly filthy, and it's a student film. I loved it.
Good eye though. I didn't cop that at all.
But like, as soon as I saw it, because it was
that a tell for you?
It was the helmet that like I was like, I have seen that before somewhere, and then I searched it up and I was like, holy shit,
that's clever.
And then I was thinking, so that's a very, very clever subtle callback to a previous movie that, without telling you he is, like, we're telling you he's the serial killer. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was very smart. I loved it.
Because it's also, like, if he was wearing, like, a Michael Myers costume, you would have been like,
oh, yeah,
you know,
yeah,
but
yeah.
It's like it's a tell without being a tell.
Yeah,
you know?
We also get Pride Ghostface.
We do get Pride Ghostface. But I actually really like the interaction. We do get a focus on trauma in this movie, which we kind of do with Sydney and kind of Sydney alone in the old movies, which again doesn't make much sense when you consider that, like, all of the people she's surrounded with have also been there for all of them, you know, and been more injured than her. But just Mindy's sitting there with Annika, and she's kind of like, Annika is like, does it bother you? And she's like, what? And she's like, the fact that you got, you know, stabbed at a house party by somebody wearing a ghost face mask, and now you're sitting here at a house party with people wearing ghost face masks. And she's like, no, I figure it's like getting struck by lightning. Like, what are the chances of it happening to me again?
True.
You know?
True.
But I think we get a lot of that with Mindy, actually. A lot of Mindy kind of like looking around being like, okay,
suspicious of
there's a
people.
ghost face here, you know?
Yeah.
I thought they would use that more, but I actually think it would have gotten a little tired if they used it more. The idea of there being like, oh shit, there's 5 ghost faces over there. If they did that every time they went out, I think it would get a little played out, you know?
Yeah. There was one thing in particular that I was looking at it going like, there's way too much of an extreme reaction to something like this, especially when there's no sort of indication that there's something darker afoot. Especially, now this is sort of going off topic, but especially like post Me Too movement, the scene where Tara gets kind of chatted up by this guy who straight up is just like, yo, you wanna fuck? And she's like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Why not?
Yeah, she was drunk. This is her way of, like, quote unquote, dealing with things.
Yeah. And, like, the way her sister straight up reacts, like, he's a rapist, he's gonna drug you, he's gonna fuck you over, you're gonna be traumatized by this, and I'm gonna tase her in the balls.
Excuse me, I'm gonna tase you now. And then she did. I thought that was so funny, though.
I did think it was funny, but it sort of took me out of the movie for a second, and I thought, like, not that I'm saying that it is, but it felt like that was decisions. Yeah, she's not making the best decision, but I felt like are the writers making a political remark with something like this?
No, it doesn't go any further than that.
No, it doesn't. In fact, the guy who shows up is never ever mentioned or seen again.
He's so hot though. Now I think it's also kind of, he's intentionally like a huge dude, and Jenna Ortega is like tiny, so it looked kind of like if something did go awry, she might not be able to defend herself.
Yeah.
But I think this whole scene is here to show how protective the group is of her.
Of her, yes.
Which is weird, because it's like Sam has kind of taken on the role of being like, no, like, are you okay? And it's like, but it happened to you. Yeah. Like, it was all about you. I'm just related to you. I was just the message, you know? Fucking Chad kind of like steps up and like ends up like getting into like a kerfuffle, and then it becomes a whole big thing.
Straight up, the group just attacks this guy, and all he said was, "Yo, you want to fuck?" Like, that's all he fucking did.
Up to the keg and there's nothing left in it. He's like, I got some harder stuff up in my room or whatever. And again, like, we don't like. He's kind of set up to be implied as kind of creepy, rapey guy, but like she was kind of like. yeah, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like she's at a party with her girls and you know.
You kind of loosey goosey.
Girls.
You want to get your fuck who you could fuck.
I think she could have. But I don't know. I do like this scene because it's set up to show like, okay, we're a group.
Yeah.
Like no, like we have what your best interests are at heart. You know, you may not be thinking clearly for yourself. You know?
It also does set up the character traits of Tara's older sister
Sam.
and her dealing with the trauma and feeling fear for her sister and things like that, which in a sense is an interesting character trait.
Yeah.
And it was developed really well to about the halfway point of the movie. And then it's just sort of never spoken about again or never brought up, which sort of irked me, which is why like I'd give it a solid B rather than an A, because there were certain character tropes and traits that were hinted at or at least approached solidly, but sort of never went anywhere after a while. Like after the therapist is fucking grey kill through the face,
so good.
It's just sort of like her fears and anxieties for her sister just disappear completely.
But it's because I don't think they disappear. I think they're validated because then Ghostface attacks start.
Because they go into action straight up after that.
Straight away.
As soon as Richie's quote unquote Richie's phone rings Sam.
No, I thought
she goes into action.
I thought that was a really cool kind of device in the movie. The idea that like, which for some reason didn't clue me into him being super important in this movie. I just thought that it was like they're using like past ghost faces to get to her, and that's her personal ghost face.
Yeah.
Now we did forget to mention Sam's reintroduction to this movie is her in therapy.
Yes.
She doesn't go to the party because she's like weirdly, well, not weirdly, she's like still very apprehensive about like going out with people and like
her life is essentially on hold.
I thought she was
That's
also
what Tara
going to be
called her
in
out
college.
on. Yes.
But she's not. I thought that this was a movie about like the whole group going to college and continuing on, but she's just moved to New York to be near Tara. But this scene was funny, but also I think like really clued us into like the psyche of Sam after the first movie, or after like the movie just passed, where she's kind of talking about like, so it's confirmed she's schizophrenic.
Yes,
this is why she's seeing Billy and stuff.
Yeah,
Billy is not a force ghost. Now look, they only used it twice, and we've gotten it in previous movies, so it didn't seem like a jumping the shark. I don't think Speed
should show up again. I just don't.
It's
terrible.
I know, but I feel like that's kind of like tied to her now, or I feel like they might not do that in the next movie, or maybe I don't know, because the mom has
Ulrich
to come
shows
into
up
it.
one more time, I swear to fucking God, I'm just going to laugh in the cinema. I really will.
It's kind of
the
corny.
man is aging.
Yeah,
he is
they are
aging.
de-aging him in the movie, but I can tell.
Yes,
you know, like it looks really
it takes
weird.
you out of the scene because you can clearly see the CGI around his cheeks and his forehead.
Yeah, it's the hair and everything.
Yeah,
it just looks bad.
You know,
but, like,
it would have worked if he was 30 years ago, but no.
Or if they try to actually do like a decent deep fake or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like, so Sam is kind of confirmed schizophrenic, and she's like back on her medication, and she's talking to her psychiatrist. And
Who
she's
clearly looks like,
he's like,
this interview is over, I'm uncomfortable.
which is so unprofessional.
Yes, exactly.
She didn't say, she even says, she's like, I didn't threaten anybody. Like, I didn't say I was going to kill somebody again. But she said when she was killing Richie that it felt right. And I actually like this character arc for Sam because it does give a little bit more complexity to her, because I found her very bland in the last movie.
Yes.
For a main character, at least, I thought Tara might have been a better fit for the main character, like if those roles were switched, you know. But yeah, her psychiatrist is kind of like, "Whoa, I'm gonna go. You should leave," and kind of like basically like kicks her out.
Yes,
you know?
Straight up.
So she goes to the party where everybody is, and then that's when that whole like showdown goes down. But now we also find out in that session that she's being blamed online for the kills.
Yeah, a lot of people are
she,
finding hatred for her.
Exactly, people think that she framed Richie and that she framed Richie and Amber. Amber is still one of my favorite killers. I don't fucking care. But this movie has...
But wait! There's more!
This movie has given me a bigger appreciation of Richie as a killer.
Yeah.
Because we find out that he's kind of been into
the
this...
super fan.
Yeah, for like his whole life, which I think like adds a lot of depth. He's not just like a random killer anymore. But Yeah, so they spill out onto the street after, like, the party kind of, like, they get out and, like, because it's Halloween and it's on campus, everybody's, like, out on the street and they're talking, and this is a setup for early or for later where Tara is like, you have to let me go. Like, you have to, like, relax. Yeah. Like, you moved here to be with me and you're kind of smothering me and, like, I'm the only reason you're here. Like, you need to find out what you want to do with your own life, you know? And it could have been delivered more harsh, but it really did just seem like I love you, but, like, get off me.
Yes.
You know? And then that, like, conversation gets broken up with
some
Sam
bitch
getting a drink thrown on her, you know, calling her a killer, and then that clip is used against her as
later on,
later, because she's like kind of fighting with her, and, you know,
I did think that's where I thought there was some really great character motivation set up. I did think it was a progression from what they were seeing last time. The only thing I do have a problem with was Jenna Ortega's character, where Sam was sort of, because Neve Campbell's presence is not felt in the film, someone has to sort of take over a more prominent role without her being there. So Berrera's character takes over. Sam sort of takes the sort of foreground of Neve Campbell's character and sort of takes charge, whereas Jenna Ortega's character, she just sort of disappears into the background. And unfortunately, the problem with her character, at least with this script, and this is another gripe that I had, is the plot drives her rather than her driving the plot. Yeah. In the last film, she was very much like, we have to go now. We have to go here. We have to get the fucking do this and blah, blah, blah. Let's plan on getting this fucker and blah, blah, blah. Where in this film, everyone else was making the decisions around her. Yeah. And it was sort of irritating because then you're not the center of the story anymore. You're not a character. You're just sitting on the train rather than driving the train. Yeah. And it's a problem when characters have to go through that, because then they're forgettable in their approach to their acting abilities, and then they're just like, the character arc gets forgotten about. Yeah. And it's unfortunate in this sense that I think because they tried to introduce so many new people and blah blah blah, which again in hindsight there's a few characters that are very one-dimensional, sort of character,
like some people are there
things
to
be killed, exactly. And unfortunately they take that hit, and it's to Jenna Ortega's character's detriment, you know? And but like, as I said, like, I think that whole, like, you've got to fucking let me go, you've got to let me live my life, get off me, was a powerful scene, and it should have driven her character toward the end. And the only actually ending that we did get was her, like, quite literally, which I didn't think was a great approach, was like Sam holding onto Jenna Ortega's Tara and like literally letting her go.
I did think that was cool.
I did
know when she said "let me go," I was like, "That's gonna come up."
Yeah, you know? It was an audible eye roll in my opinion. Yeah, when I was just like, "Oh, really?"
Which just sounds like
really. Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I do think that they could have increased Jenna Ortega in this a little more, because I really actually like their dynamic together. Yeah, I think they work really well. I do think they're starting to, very subtly, like not in a problematic way, I think they're starting to kind of place them into like archetypes of the Scream series, where we have Sam as the new Sydney, which is fine, because this is going to sound really harsh, I didn't notice myself longing for Sydney in this movie.
So this is something I actually have a gripe with. So the lack of Neve Campbell's Sydney wasn't really noticeable. It wasn't, like, until, I'll be fair, until Gail brought it up, I was like,
I mean, she has to. You can't not reference her. Yeah. She is the series.
Like, on one hand, if you want to keep making Scream movies, you can't have the killer go after her and, you know, her friends exclusively.
I think her story is kind of over.
Yeah, and if the killer, like, goes after someone new, you can't just have her butt in and say, "Hey, I'm still relevant." Yeah. Because in a way, like, it doesn't involve her anymore.
No, it makes
like,
sense
there's nothing personal.
Yes. You know, because it's Woodsboro, and her group is still directly involved. Yeah. But she didn't come back until Dewey died.
Yes.
You know? So,
Yes.
like, it made sense as to why she was there. Now, she was supposed to be in this movie, and they didn't end up paying her enough. And I am
But
very proud of her.
that's what the other
being,
hand
like,
was.
And
Is,
I
like, they
think-
just didn't pay her enough.
I think, but it doesn't feel like there isn't scenes in this movie where I feel like, oh, she was totally supposed to be here.
Yes, that's
know?
that's another thing. That's the testament as to why we look at it and go like she's not noticeable in this film. Like,
No, and
until
it would be unnatural
Gail
for her to
brought
be
her
there.
up, I completely forgot about Sydney Prescott.
And I
completely
think
forgot about her.
I think that's
It's a good thing. Oh, it's absolutely a
that's
good thing.
Like, that's
Yeah.
the thing. Again,
Because if you're going to move this franchise forward,
You have to.
you kind of have to absolutely let the past die. You
I think
really
it's the
do.
Halloween thing of, like, if Laurie Strode was in every one of those movies, it just wouldn't have made sense.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that Laurie Strode isn't still, like, super important or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
I think if you're going to bring her back for Scream 7, if you're going to wrap the series up there, because you have to.
Yeah.
But with this, yeah, I felt bad for not missing her,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Not missing Nev Campbell, not missing Sydney,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But again, like, I think, like you said, it would have been kind of weirdly unnatural to just kind of like shove her in here.
Yeah, because she does feel very wedged into the series in certain senses.
Even
so,
in
like,
3.
it makes sense. Yeah, even in 3. Yeah, it makes sense in some ways because obviously Gail Weathers sort of like took a more like centered character role halfway through the second movie toward the mid,
But
you
it is
know,
that second
the
movie
beginning
is
of the
Gail's
third
movie.
movie. Yes, exactly,
You know,
exactly.
she's on screen just as much, if not more, than Sydney is.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the third movie, that very much so becomes a
Gail
Dewey
Weathers.
and Gail movie.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
and Sydney shows up kind of at the same mark as in 5,
Mm-hmm.
you know? But yeah, I felt bad not missing her. But, you know, I think they did a very, very good job with not giving us time or space to miss her, you know. But kind of back to what we were saying, I really, really like Sam and Tara's thing, and I think they're trying to slot her as the new Sydney successfully in my mind. They're trying to make Tara the kind of the Gale-ish, where she's like more kind of abrasive and a little
Attentive,
bit more aggressive,
aggressive, yes.
And then Chad is very definitely the new Dewey, 'cause
yeah.
he's lovable.
I mean,
and
they definitely gave him a Dewey entrance and exit.
Yeah.
You know, to this movie.
and then Mindy is the new Randy.
And what
And Mindy is the new Randy.
is the new Randy? Yeah.
But again, it's not so obvious that I'm like, you
Yeah.
know, like, it's not pissing me off. Now, one thing I will say, the thing I was missing from the last movie is the original Scream score. But they brought in here.
Yeah.
We got original, like, sound cues. We got Dewey's theme and Dewey and Gail's love theme when she's talking about him. And just, like, the score was so good. We got Red Right Hand, but, like, not for, like, a 2-second, like, car radio song or whatever.
Yeah.
This movie, it felt like a Scream movie to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It looked like a Scream movie, and, like, I don't know, I think this one fits into the series more naturally than 5 does, actually. So where do we go from this? Oh, so they find the attack. They find Jason and Stuff's body. This is right after the party, because they go back to the house, and Tara's kind of, it's on the news or whatever.
This, I will say, when I was watching that sort of news report, I was looking at that going like, God, that news report looks so staged.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, this is like watching a movie within a movie. I was like, what is going on? Like,
It's like
oh.
RoboCop levels of, like, news, like,
Yeah, you know,
introductions,
it's like it's someone standing there with a microphone just in dead center screen, like,
Hello,
no...
I'm a reporter.
Yeah,
You know?
like,
Yeah.
it just felt like that. I was like, oh, this just doesn't look like it's basically. Of course, it's like expedition. It's trying to give you information while also telling the characters what's going on, what's happened. So, like, you know, and their reaction is rightly justified.
And they're split. They don't all agree.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
Sam is like, I love Sam's reaction though, because she's like, we're getting out
She
of the
straight
city.
up grabs a knife.
She grabs the
first
knife,
thing.
she grabs the keys, we're getting out of the city, pack your shit, we leave in 10.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what you would do.
That's exactly what you would do.
You know?
That's
But then
exactly what
Jenna
you would do.
is kind of like, I'm gonna, like, intermittently call them Jenna and Melissa or whatever, but, like, Tara, she's like, okay, relax. Like, we don't know if this actually has anything to do with us. Because what are the chances that we move to a different city and it's connected to us.
It's
whatever.
also New York.
It's New York, you know? Like,
it's terrible to say there are murders, but
it's New York. And
girl,
it's
it's New York.
And it's Halloween, you know? It's like, of course people are going to be attacked.
I think she even says that. She's like, it's Halloween.
Exactly. Everybody's going to be wearing masks.
Yeah.
But then they find Sam's ID at the scene, and that's what connects them, and that's why they can't leave.
Yeah.
Because they're like...
Because that's when Richie's father shows up.
Yeah. Dermot Mulrooney.
Mulrooney.
Absolute chair of the week. Oh my God.
Really?
I'm not even joking. I've always thought this man is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my whole life.
Really?
And he's only gotten sexier with age.
Wow.
He was in My Best Friend's Wedding, and he's Rachel's replacement in Friends, Gavin, in Friends. He's so... Oh my God, arrest me and put your fist in my body. Seriously, dude. Even though I love him, he's also one of my only issues with the movie. We'll get to it when we get to the end. But, oh my God, he's so beautiful. Oh my God, he's so beautiful. But,
put your arrested ass on my dick.
I want my own personal stone wall with this man. You know?
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
I would absolutely let this man put his hands on the bottom of my chin and the top of my head and turn my neck 360 degrees around. You know, I want him to put a gun in my ass. You know? Oh my God, he's so beautiful. But we get this really weird interaction between... So, Danny, cute boy across the hall, or cute boy across the whatever.
Yes.
This is one thing where I was kind of like, wait, what the fuck? Because, like... I knew he was going to be in the movie because he's on the cast poster or whatever. Yeah. But then
he was in She-Hulk, which I only found out, I think it was yesterday. And when I saw that, I was like, no, I never watched She-Hulk. But I also saw that and I was like, okay, he was in that.
And AJ and the Queen, that's what I know him from. I watched that very passingly. But Sam is kind of like checking him out or whatever, and Quinn notices him checking her out. I really like Quinn as well. I think she's a great character.
Yes.
Like, well, before the reveal and stuff.
Sex positive.
Yeah.
You're a whore. You're old. You're a zygote.
Zygote. And she's like, I'm 30.
You and me were pissing ourselves laughing at that.
So funny. I was like, how often do people get to use the word zygote? You know?
I use the word protozoa a lot.
Well, you would, wouldn't you? But,
I myself was one 30 million years ago.
Her interaction between her and cute boy Danny across the hall, she's like, oh no, I'm not like...
Oh, we're not fucking.
But then it's like...
But we totally are fucking.
But then it was like, why is that a secret?
Yeah, why is that a problem?
Until we find them making out up against tofu. I could not stop laughing for like a whole scene afterwards. God. I was still laughing.
I remember, like, I think I was
press me up against this extra firm tofu. Why don't you?
I think I was like holding my finger in between my teeth, trying not to laugh because, like, I don't know what it was, but my eye was just drawn to the wall.
It looked exactly
it just
like
looks
tofu.
like tofu.
You know, if we can find a clip from that, like, we'll have to throw it on Insta because it literally sent me. But so they're making out, and this is when we get the news break. I'm gonna get down here because I'm gonna get cramp in my leg. This is when we get the break of the news, and everybody runs up to the apartment and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I think this is like the quickest we've gotten straight into a storyline in the movies because like,
it rolls very smoothly. I think we even said it once that like. The kills, the opening kills, especially with like the first film with Casey Becker,
they're just
you could have very much left that murder out and it wouldn't have changed the story.
No.
Whereas this murder was completely integrated into the plot itself.
Like directly, like scene, like there's not even a scene between them. Mm-hmm. They just flow straight into each other.
Yeah.
But this leads directly into the bodega scene.
Oh.
I fucking loved this. Now, I was skeptical when I saw these images online of a Ghostface in what is a new costume, like not just a mask. I mean, the mask is an old mask, but the costume is different in it. It's like a hoodie. Like it's like a streetwear version of the thing, which I thought was pretty cool. Again, I don't mind them switching it up. It's been a long time since we've gotten the like black glittery fabric of the original costumes. But they go out, and this is where we get Sam and Tara leave the apartment, and they get their first call from Richie's phone, and Tara's like, don't answer it, and Sam's like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah. She takes charge straight away, and I like
love
that.
it. Yeah, she skips Scream 2 development and goes straight to Scream 3 Sydney.
What's your favorite scary movie?
You know?
No, fuck off.
Yeah.
Give me your fucking name before I shoot you in the face.
For real, though. She just goes so hard. And then they're kind of having like this little interaction or whatever like that, and this is when we find out that it's like, oh, like it can't be Richie. I never deleted his number or whatever. And then we get like an out of nowhere Ghostface attack. It was so good.
This also makes me think that the person on the phone was not the person in the bushes.
No, of course not.
So this is what I was talking about earlier with it being New York, right? Is the fact that it's around Halloween, someone chasing you down the street, I suppose, is not going to draw too much attention.
Yeah, like people around you aren't going to like think that's so
they're not going to
odd.
shit themselves thinking, oh, that's a fucking serial killer.
Exactly.
But the one thing I do, because all bets are off now with this when it comes to it being New York and in the bodega and all of this, is Ghostface is no longer just going after you. He will cut down anyone in front of you to get to you.
Like, he's not hiding.
Exactly. Like,
you
that
know?
makes it so much more intense. And I think as soon as he pulled out the knife and, like, I think it was, like, straight
into
into
the face.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
it was
it's so good.
fucking good.
Because he walks in.
Pulls out the shotgun and just whips the guy around and shoots him in the head.
Yeah, that's what made me skeptical. Because I saw Ghostface with a shotgun, and I was kind of like, it seems a little impersonal. Like, I'm about to sound like such a psycho, but stabbing, I feel like, is so much more like intimate of a kill. But then, like, because this was a shot that we saw, it was actually leaked online like months and months ago, where it's just Ghostface holding the shotgun straight out like this, and it was kind of like but it was
it could
so
have been
good.
one of those like it was in Scream 5 where it was one of the stab franchise things.
I thought it was going to be somebody just happening to be robbing the store.
Oh, dressed
but just
as
happened
Ghostface.
to have been wearing a Ghostface costume. Because again, it was more kind of a casual. It wasn't like full cloak. It was like black hoodie cloak, like whatever. But then he kills like 2 people, and then the shop owner is like, okay, go out the back, and they're like, we need your keys. And he comes in with he has a shotgun under the table or under the cashier desk or whatever, and is trying to shoot Ghostface. And then it's a really, really cool, really tense scene, kind of a la Jurassic Park in the kitchen.
Oh,
where
yes.
They're like crawling, and Sam even does the distraction thing. She picks up a can and like throws it across the thing, and he just shoots straight away. And then they're like crawling around or whatever, and I think Tara like leans on a piece of glass or something, and we just get that slow like turn to see them through the crack, and he just starts fucking the place up.
Yeah.
But then when he runs around, I don't know why in my mind whether Ghostface is like a female or male killer, Ghostface is a he. Do you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't refer to
he is a genderless all.
A ghost. But then he just runs around, and we get to see it in the like domed mirror thing or whatever. Just comes around and just stabs the fuck out of this guy and gets the gun, you know. And then in 2 seconds, the police show up and he's gone.
Yeah, that was actually something that annoyed me, because it's very clear that the police have surrounded the building, and I was thinking this is because this is white people who are ringing the police. That's why they arrived there so quickly. I hear you, man.
White girl in trouble.
Police are racist. Cops are racist, man. But like they got there so fucking quickly, and I was like, there is no fucking way that whoever that fucking was got out that back door. And there was no cops. There was no way.
I disagree.
I do not believe that for a second.
I disagree. It's New York. It's
fine.
It's New York. It's New York. It's Halloween, and like he gets out like as they're arriving though. Like the place isn't like surrounded by cops or something. And it's like a bodega. There's a million alleys you can disappear down. Once you take off that costume, you're not Ghostface anymore. You're just one of the millions of people on the street, you know?
Yeah.
I was so happy with this scene, because it was another one that I had seen a lot of behind the scenes for, like on Instagram and stuff. Like I didn't unfollow all the cast because they obviously weren't going to spoil anything.
Yeah.
Like they're under contract. But I was kind of hyped up for this scene. I thought it was so fucking cool. It also something new again. It's a public attack.
Yeah, like that's something that has been sort of maneuvered around, like in previous Ghostface murders and Scream movies, where it's always someone who is vulnerable alone at home, or you know, like even at Stu Macher's party,
they're in the middle of nowhere.
They're in the middle of nowhere, and a lot of kids have like fucked off home because they heard that the coach had
Principal Hembry got hung.
like
and gutted, yeah.
So like he had gutted himself. He didn't die. He crystallized and he's the glamour bitch ready for the runway.
And we get to see that noose later in the movie that Principal Hembry was hung with.
So like when it comes to things like this, and it's the first time where I think there was 4 or 5 people in that bodega.
Yeah, like
and
half
then,
the
like,
bodega ran out and then half of them got killed.
Oh, like it was so intense, and it just, again, like he's out in New York, it adds a whole new perspective and like a more intense layer to like the possibilities from that moment onwards.
Like he could come from anywhere,
that he's what he's capable of. You know what I mean?
Nobody could do anything about it, or nobody would do anything about it. It's the the standby, or the what's that thing people say where it's like the onlooker effect, where it's like somebody will do something about it.
Oh yeah, and I can't remember. It's like an enactment or something like that. I don't know.
It's very New York.
It's the fight or flight response. You know what I mean?
Or it's like somebody else will take care of that.
Yeah,
you know, there's enough people. Or what is it? It's
don't shout rape, shout fire.
You're more likely to help somebody. You're more likely to get helped if there's one person in the room with you versus if there's 20 people in the room, because somebody will assume somebody else will do something about it, versus you being the only person and then you feel personally responsible. Exactly.
Yeah.
I actually saw a thing on TikTok the other day, or I saw a TikTok because I'm not on TikTok. Okay. But
you heard it here first, folks. Their Hair Podcast is not on TikTok.
It's because I don't know how to use it.
I will never know how to.
I'm like officially like aging out of technology, but or like aging out of apps or whatever. I'm still 3 years younger than you.
I was just about to say that. I was like, is he calling himself old for the first time?
But Nathan, even when I become a certifiable old person, I will still be younger than you. You know, if I live to 175 years old, you'll still be 190. You know. But I saw this on TikTok that it was like an experiment with a teacher. I actually don't feel like this is true because I feel like somebody would just go to jail for this. But it's like a theoretical thing of like, if you're told to, like, there's this class and they're all in the classroom and their teacher takes a goldfish out of the bowl and puts it, and he's told them all, like, do not move, don't get up out of your seat or I'll fail all of you. And he takes the goldfish out of the bowl, puts it on the desk and leaves the room, and everybody's like sitting there.
Oh no.
Like, what do we fucking do or whatever?
Yeah.
And then he comes back and like the fish like can't survive out of water for a couple of minutes or whatever. And then that was to show the effect of like a whole room full of people, nobody did anything.
Yeah.
You know, but if it was like one person in a room, they would have done something.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, fuck.
So that was a bit of a tangent.
Poor
but, you know, we got there. What the fuck happens next?
Gail shows up.
Oh, it was so good! I don't care. Anytime she's on screen, I'm like, it's epic.
So, like, we find out that Gail... If I may say so, it's a tradition that someone swings for Gail the first time.
I love that. Oh, I've done this before.
And then she gets clocked by her sister, and I was like, yes, that's how the tradition works.
This is another shot that was leaked online. Not the whole shot, just like a shot from on the street, because again, you're filming in public, people are going to take pictures of Gail in this gorgeous pantsuit, this like cobalt blue pantsuit. People are looking at this as a regression of Gail's character. I don't think so. Gail's always done this.
She's a reporter. It's in her blood. It's
her
gonna
job,
happen.
You know, it's like it's what she fucking does.
Plus, it's a great comedy piece to open up her line to, because she's known for the quick qualms in the movies. So, like, being told that she was like, "Oh, I slightly skewed it. You called her a serial killer and crazy,"
and that's a quote
in the same sentence.
Yeah, that's a quote, by the way.
Because it was like, she's like, I was paraphrasing. She was like, "That's a quote."
Yeah. I don't know. I think Gail is at her best when she's like ruthless.
Yes,
you know?
exactly.
I think that's why we love Gail.
Yeah, that's why she has, in a crazy way, become more of an icon than Sidney Prescott.
I think
you
so,
know?
because she's cunty. The gays love Sydney because she's the one. But like, you know, touching
grabs
her hair,
the neck.
It's always that. She always does that in every fucking movie. But I don't know.
Do your fucking job.
Seriously though, I think like the gays live for Gail just because like I don't know, she's more of an interesting character. I think.
Yes,
You know?
Now the only problem I did have was it sort of makes her character a bit redundant in this movie where she sort of appears, disappears.
Well, she's not connected to it, and they don't consider that.
But what I mean is that even though she's in the film, she doesn't particularly like. How do I explain it? Like I know obviously that she gets, you know, mauled by Ghostface.
One of the best scenes in the whole series.
But like the problem is, right up until that moment, she was just half searching half the day, but sort of doesn't go anywhere with it. So like there wasn't really much of, and this is just from a writer's perspective that I look at it and I
subtle,
go,
subtle.
Because I'm writing a book.
Nathan can spell, everybody.
I know how to spell antediluvian. So because I am.
Better stop.
But
your
like,
birth cert is in like hieroglyphs or whatever.
No,
know?
it's
on a
cave
stone
painting.
tablet. Yeah. The smoke signal.
It was recorded on the back of rocks. Yeah,
it said a star appeared in the sky and 3 wise men followed it. You know.
But they didn't bring myrrh; they bought drugs.
I always thought myrrh would be like a little bottle of glowing blue liquid. I didn't know that all they brought was like 3 different kinds of incense.
It's pretty much that. Yeah,
here's some spices.
But Gail just doesn't have as much of an arc in this movie as she did with the other movies. And I know technically it's not her story, but the problem I always have with it, it's a Chekhov's gun. If you're going to introduce something, give it a payoff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was looking forward to this being a Gale-centric movie.
Yeah, like, because, like, why bring her back if there wasn't anything specific about it? And she doesn't help. She really, and I mean this sincerely, throughout the film, she does try to do research, she does try to do different things, but she doesn't help with solving who it is.
She finds the
trying to
shrine.
figure it. She finds the shrine, but she still doesn't know who it connects to. She doesn't have any evidence to project it in one way or the other.
Yeah.
She just finds it, and that's where they decide to have the finale at.
But I think I even reached over to you and said, I'm like, if they just trusted Gail in these fucking movies and let her make Gail an officer.
Yeah.
Because Gail is the one that always figures it out before everybody does.
It's true.
You know, it's like if they just like everybody always discounts the fuck out of her, and it's like, you forget that I've been here every fucking time. I've been on screen more than Sydney has.
Yeah.
And I've like figured it all out. I'm the one that fucking made sure that they didn't die in the first movie.
Yes.
You know?
That's true.
Even in the second movie, she's right there in the finale, you know? Now, if she hadn't have gotten caught and acquitted, Sydney would have died. I'm just saying. But again, in that movie, she's right. Cotton didn't do it, and she knew it, you know? But yeah, I actually do kind of like how there is even a line in this movie where Sam is kind of like, I don't know why I didn't think they wouldn't go after Gail. You know, because they're like, because Gail is technically part of Sydney's story, you know, so I'm thinking they're just thinking like it's not tied to that at all. Then when Gail's attack finally comes up, they're like, it's on the Upper West Side. I know who that is. You know, because it's Gail. Now, Gail's rich. Gail is rich, honey, in this movie.
Rich white woman.
She's got a wraparound balcony and everything.
My
and
God.
a hot new lover.
Like the big fucking muscular guy that's like, well was her personal trainer, or at least her doctor.
Yeah.
And she was just like,
I've got to get
you
some
know, he's
dental
kinda
work
fucking
done.
hot.
Yeah. But she doesn't give a fuck about him.
No, she doesn't.
She even jokes about the fact that he dies, like right after he died. But
oh my God.
So again, I have like fuck all notes from like in the middle of the movie because we only saw it in the cinema.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
I didn't want to be taking notes. I didn't want to be looking at my phone.
The kind of next biggest thing that like
we get Kirby.
Yeah, so Kirby
Special Agent Kirby Reed,
oh,
bitch.
Jesus Christ. Wigorama.
Are you wearing a wig?
Are you
wearing 2 wigs?
Are you wearing 2 wigs? Are you wearing a 2 wigs and a half stack? Is that what you're doing? I know the drag lingo. I know what you're doing up in that hair.
She's got a fall on.
She got straight up. I think you and I both clocked it. We were
Wig.
like, wig.
You know what it is? It's the fact that it's parted where it is. And the fact that it looks like a sculpture. It doesn't look like hair.
It doesn't look like she's been on a lot of cracks and she got stabbed last. The hair don't move.
It doesn't even look like Hayden Panettiere has hair.
Yeah.
Why would they not just style her hair?
She looked like 10 times better in her previous film than she did in
the
this
short
one.
hair.
And she looks at least 20 years older than she does, even though she's a zygote.
I mean, it's been 10 years.
And 10 years, but girl, she looks as if she's turning 40. You know, she looks like she's about to ask you, can I talk to the manager?
Oh,
do you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just... It was a bad choice. Yeah, exactly. And the fact that it's sort of swept under like this, I'm just like, no.
I think they could have captured
it was
her
the
with,
same
like,
wrong
short
decision
hair.
as me doing the highlights in
Gail's
Gail's
hair.
hair.
Nice streaks. Yeah. You know? I almost feel like that's kind of a through line in the movies is questionable hair.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, like Gail in Scream 3. You know?
Yeah.
Somebody... I always say when I talk about her hair that it looks like somebody just pulled her bangs out. Yeah. like somebody just cut them off at the root, you know? Or like she went to go get her hair cut by someone's teeth or something, you know? Well, you been in a fight, Gail? Jesus Christ. You should see the other guy. Yeah, he's got your clip-on bang in his hand, like, you know, is what it is. You got the rest of your fucking hair in that bag, you know? But that was David Arquette's idea, by the way, and I'm like, the divorce was coming soon. You know, he said, you know, here's 200 quid. Fuck her shit up. You know? I mean, I'll fuck it right up.
Oh my god. Oh.
It looks like they got burnt off, though. Do you know what I mean? It's so jagged.
Yeah.
Look, we could make a whole podcast episode
it's
based on just Gail Brothers' hair throughout this series. But
you're old. You're a zygote.
Oh no! Wait, we get Kirby after this. Oh, we get Kirby right before this, and then when they're leaving the house, when they're leaving the house of justice,
she fucking flips her FBI patch, which I thought was so funny.
Wouldn't you though?
Well, I will.
Special Agent Kirby, bitch. Okay.
Also, you know, if you're in the FBI, she's straight up in. Did you notice the jacket she was wearing?
I thought it was cunt.
It is, but like, did you see the size of the fucking buckles?
The like metallic,
like what was going on?
They're the kind
in
of
her
buckles
head?
that would be on like a Demonia like goth boot.
Like,
you know?
I can just imagine this was a tacky Versace's 90 runway, and like.
Now look,
this is so stupid.
I had my suspicions about Kirby before they're set up in this movie because she's wearing black and white for the whole movie. I don't know why that kind of, and then she's a returning character.
Yeah.
This is also kind of a big deal. Kirby's back. It's been speculated for years and years and years and years that like she didn't die. There's no way she died. Why would they get rid of her so quickly?
Yeah, she's just sort of quietly hushed off to the side and never talked about until the middle of 5, and it's only
it's a very small,
very
hint.
tiny little window of a video with clickbait on it.
Yeah,
and then she's alive in this one. So like, I can appreciate that. But the one thing I will say is, not for a second did I believe she was the murderer. Not for a second.
I don't know.
Because there was 2 things in particular that told me the film is quite literally winking at you and telling you she's a red herring.
Yeah, I suppose.
The first thing was the cop, Mulhooney, whatever the fuck his name was.
Bailey?
Chair of the Week. Him.
Oh, Dermot Mulroney is the actor, yeah.
That one. Where he quite literally rings, I think he rings up Sam and is like, she's mentally ill, she got acquitted from the force. Like, basically looking and going like, she's fucking nuts. She's crazy, bro.
Yeah, I feel
and
like
then the other thing was the look over there moment that she had when she locked the fucking gate, and she does this thing where she looks sideways and she just exit stage right.
Yeah.
Like, those were the 2 things I was looking at going like,
kind of an obvious
you're not
setup.
going to fool me. I know what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And it's not going to work. And I knew it. I knew it as soon as the fucking the Mulrooney guy, Bailey, was revealed to be one of the killers. I was like, I immediately knew that she wasn't. Because like, I was also looking and going like, why would he do that? And then he's the crazy one.
I have to take my Lexa professional.
You know? So it just kind of irked me, and then she gets stabbed and she gets forgotten about for the entire
scene. We will get to that.
She is straight up lying there.
I'm fucking dying here.
like a la Jack Sparrow in fucking At World's End, going, help. you know,
hello,
stabbed,
you guys,
can't move, and then
it's
she
not
just
time for a DMC. I'm fucking bleeding
right,
here.
right.
But
it just seemed like bad writing.
So this is where we get the set. Okay, this is what's next. So the setup, they're trying to have a Randy Scream 2 moment, but like use it to their advantage, because this is when they all team together and they're like, we're gonna chop the fuck out of Ghostface.
Yeah.
Okay. Like we're all one step ahead, quote unquote. Not knowing that like all three Ghostfaces are there with them.
Are literally sitting with them. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I thought it was very clever that like these people were being proactive. They were hunting down Ghostface. They weren't just waiting for Ghostface to show up and then figure it out that way. Mm-hmm. So we have and I was expecting somebody to die, Randy style, during this. So we have Kirby out in the big FBI van with Chad and Mindy in there, which really should have been my first hint that Kirby wasn't axed from the FBI, because how would she have all this shit from them, you know? And again, we get like really good dialogue between Mindy and Kirby, because they're both Randys. You know what I mean? And like they're both kind of like sassy with each other, you know, where she's like, oh, is this going to be the scene where like, I don't know why I'm on the phone. Like, is this going to be the scene where like, you have to keep them on the line and we have to keep them on, and then just in time, the killer hangs up and she's like, I can trace a call in 10 seconds. And he's like, ooh.
It was very much that. Oh, you don't have. You can go and stand over there.
Exactly. You don't have to be here.
It was that moment.
You know, you are not a prisoner in my company, maybe.
You know what? This conversation is making me uncomfortable. You don't have to be here. You can go over there.
Bye. You know, I'm gonna fucking arrest you. I'm part of the FBI. Give me your phone. You know. But I thought this was very clever, though. So then we have Sam and Tara walking around, and Officer Bailey as the most obvious undercover cop ever. He's got a huge earpiece,
and he's got his cap like pulled right down, like, wearing jeans, like the brown like suede jacket. I'm just like, if you weren't being obvious with your hand down your pants, like you might as well have just had a glowing flashing sign saying policeman.
You're in a
also,
cop car.
Not to mention the cop car is like 5 yards there. Like what the fuck? Also, they just take the car.
Listen, it's Scream Rules. You know, there's no reason.
You get to use that excuse one more time and that's it.
Why would Gail be allowed to show up at all these investigations every time? She's a journalist. She's not a fucking...
She doesn't have the right to be there.
Doesn't. None of you people are supposed to be here. You know? So this is when we find out that Gail... So they have found out about the shrine in between last scene and this. And I was so amazed. I was like, I want to walk around that room so badly. Because they had... we'll point them all out in a post on the Instagram, because we didn't really have time to look at everything. So there was Stephen Orth's outfit from when he was stabbed, Tatum's outfit. On one side it's all victim stuff, and then on the other side it was all killer
murderer stuff. Yeah.
So then we had the star that Derek was tied to in the second movie. We had the noose that Principal Himry was hung with. We had Jill's outfit. We had all the killers' final outfits.
We had Casey's jumper.
Oh god, it was just the coolest shit ever. It's like it's a Scream museum.
Like this is one of those things. Like if you and I were to walk in, like we'd be like kids in a candy store. We'd be glued to every single case. We would be like, you know, like we would do that nerdy heavy breathing over glass. You know what I mean?
Fucking it up.
Then we had Gail's books, all of her novels,
which
had some stupid titles.
Like the Woodsboro Slasher and shit like this, like the Woodsboro Murders, which is like the first book, whatever. But and then we had all 9 Ghostface cloaks, like lined up,
like almost as if shrine, temple-esque, you know, pantheon, temple to all gods.
I actually
type
really
thing.
thought that.
Yeah.
They kind of did that again with this in Scream 2, where we had like the Greek tragedy masks.
Yes,
I thought that was.
It's a very smart play, because that was an Orpheus play, which basically just meant the sword of Damocles is hanging over your head the whole time. You're doomed no matter what. Orpheus is the same one.
Yeah,
Orpheus is the one that takes it, and he's fucked like star-crossed.
Cassandra.
So yeah. It's very that. So like it was great to see all these massive callbacks. Like Billy's t-shirt was there, like, and Stu's
like smoking jacket.
Oh, it was fantastic. The TV that ran that Stu was killed with.
Stu is dead, and it's confirmed.
It is confirmed, and also the writers and directors legitimately said, yes, quote unquote, period, he is dead. period.
And they take the
he
piss
is
out of it
dead.
in this movie, you know?
Yeah.
Because we get to see something that they cut out of the last movie, which was we get to see an evidence photo of Stu's dead body with the TV on his head. It's confirmed. Grow up. Seriously, it actually, I don't know why, it just pisses me off. Cause
Now, you had a theory that Stu would show up in this.
I didn't think
what
he
was
would,
the fear that you because you sort of alluded to it a few times prior to this, that you were like, oh, what would happen? Wanted
for years, and it was supposed to be Stu being the mastermind in 3, but then that got cut out, you know, like shit happens, you know. I don't think any of that shit counts, you know. The original fucking ending for Freddy versus Jason, the devil was supposed to be there, but that didn't happen, so that's not canon. It doesn't count. And they even kind of take the piss out of it when they're all sitting. Oh my god! One of the coolest things, when two Randys meet and they're Psycho 2, underrated. You know, what did you think?
Oh yeah,
original Candyman or remake Candyman? Both. And it's like, well, no, not both.
You were just like, you were straight up like, agreed.
Yeah.
No. Yes.
I thought it was so cool. And then they're sitting there and one of the coolest things though, Kirby was like, that's the knife that stabbed me.
Yeah.
You know, like they have all the original knives and they have all the original masks.
Yes.
You know, the one I did call it successfully was Roman Bridger's mask. The masks differ from movie to movie. They're different. 4 is much more like rigid and like pointy at the end, and I don't know, I thought it was really, really cool.
Well, the interesting thing about that is, speaking of kind of like doing that whole sort of theme of like using previous masks and things like that, which is the rehashing of the ideas or at least the themes that were introduced the first, the second, and the third movie, which is being reused, not plot-wise, but the theme is being reused in this new series, this new sequel trilogy, where the first film of this new trilogy is echoing the themes and the closed offness of the first film in the series, and then this film is echoing the themes of the second film. And again, it's the same thing. It's not for being psychos, it's being for revenge, which was obviously Billy's mother. So like, it's the same thing. Like, you killed his son, revenge. He's going to fuck you up. And that's it's a very interesting theme, which makes us excited to I think we should speculate at the end what the third movie is going to be like. But like, it makes us excited to see where the third film in this trilogy's franchise will go. I think
they're building up to something big.
And like,
I don't think they'll go solo killer in the next movie.
I think we should do the cult.
I think
the cult theme would be fucking fantastic.
See, that's what I thought.
Can you imagine Sydney being brought into an opening scene where she's in a theater full of people and she's pulled in and she's woken up same way Casey's boyfriend is, and all of them stand there and then all of them just pull down Ghostface masks and they stab the shit out of her. Can you imagine how fucked up that would be?
I'd be mad. I don't think they would ever use Sydney as an opening kill.
Well, I personally think
Gale,
something as
Kirby.
big as that,
I think Kirby might
should
be
because, like, I mean, if we're going to do a trilogy where something like this, it's gotta be fucking big, because
I think they're going to end it at 7, at least for the next couple of years.
Yeah, because, like, I mean, again, like, this is the whole James Cameron thing that you were saying, like, let's feel until 2028, but like, it should be done, and it should fucking conclude someone's story.
Yeah,
because Sidney Prescott's story ended at number 3. She just happened to be involved with 4 and 5.
Yeah,
where technically right now she's really not involved in any psychological, historical, familial way at all, unless Gale is directly involved in it.
Unless they bring it to her.
Exactly, unless it's brought to them. Sydney is not in any way, shape, form involved.
No.
You know?
No, see, and this is why I thought Stu might have been in it, because they were using old masks. Mm-hmm. So my thing was like, one of those masks is Stu's.
Yeah.
And we got the kind of revival of Billy in the first movie. Or we had like his lineage in the first, or when I say the first movie, I mean like in this new trilogy. Mm-hmm. I know, knowing that Sydney was supposed to be in this, I thought they might have, but see, I was kind of safe in my own head, because I was like, okay, there's no reason for Stu to be in this movie.
Yeah, no.
Because there's no connection. Yeah. You know, if anybody, he's going to go after Sydney. And now for for 7, I do think they're building up to cult. And I thought we were going to get that in this movie because we saw we saw 9 Ghostface outfits, and I was like, okay, there's going to be, it's not going to be 2 killers. There's going to be 3 or 1. You know, but whatever.
I will say that again. With the way Richie was filming things, it was hinted that he put this out onto the internet and was like doing loads of stuff and talking to a load of people. So it is hinted that he was like, who knows, he could take on an online following.
Yeah.
And knowing that he was a massive fan of the franchise and that he was massively into the Woodsboro murders, he could, who knows, he could inspire hundreds of Ghostface killers.
I think
he could inspire so many people to just suddenly like get onto a chat board, and then just decide, you know what,
that's how we got Amber
let's
involved.
fuck them up. Exactly, that's how we got Amber involved.
And like,
so yeah,
again, the ending of this movie really does make me appreciate Richie as a killer more than I did in 5, because it showed that it was kind of a lifelong thing. And even upon rewatching 5, there's moments where you can tell he's like kind of fanning out. When they get to Dewey's house and he opens the door, you can see him kind of be like, oh my god, it's Dewey.
Yeah,
you know, like I don't know, I thought that was really cool. We pause, gotta piss. I'm sorry.
So Gail,
okay. So yeah, during this like setup, like in the park, it's like, I'm nowhere near, like I'm all the way across
what
town.
makes you think I'm actually chatting to you? Yeah.
So we know that this person is...
Reveal!
So we know that there's another Ghostface.
I'm not there!
So, confirmed, again, by deduction... Actually,
it's a Ghostface mask underneath
exactly.
Kirby's wig.
She just pulls it down from under.
She's like, you didn't think this was a wig, did you?
So this is where we also get the rules set up for this, where we're basically getting like all bets are off and da-da-da-da.
If I may say,
no, I don't think you can.
Well, I'm going to anyway, even if you don't understand it, because it's smart people talk. I know how to spell shit.
Okay.
So the one thing that I suppose I sort of tune my brain out to is when they talk very smart. So I got what Randy was saying in the first movie. I understood that what Randy was saying in the second movie, and then I understood the rules that he gave in that videotape in the third movie.
The rules of a trilogy.
Yeah. When it came to the long-haired, you know, non-faggot but pretended to be a faggot in the fourth movie, didn't know what he was trying to say.
Charlie.
Then I didn't understand what Mindy was talking about in the fifth movie, and I still didn't fucking understand what Mindy was saying in the sixth movie. I do not know
the fifth were more
what
clear.
They were trying to fucking get at, because as soon as you start changing what I'm understanding a sequel to be, just saying it's a requel, which means this rule means this, which can be interpreted this way, which means there are no rules but there are rules, and it kind of doesn't have to be rules but there are rules and there's no rules. I don't fucking know what you're saying to me.
Okay,
so
as
soon as Mindy said all of this shit, I immediately switched off, because I was like, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about.
Okay, so the rules of a requel are that, like, you have to bring legacy characters back. That's basically it. And then there's a new cast. And then legacy characters are on the chopping block. Like, potentially they could die.
Yeah.
And they did in that fifth movie. And then with this, again, I'm kind of pulling on it where it's like, this is the requel sequel or whatever. So, like, absolutely nobody is safe. That means any of us could die. Which is kind of just the basis of it. But then I love the fact that they're like, you're a suspect. Get the fuck out of here. Like, with Ethan. And they were right.
Yeah. Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
They called him out.
Like Mindy was right. You know,
I think they specifically said because you're a virgin or something like that,
and because you're new.
Yeah,
we
new.
don't know you,
yeah.
And it also makes Annika a suspect. But then that also makes everybody kind of but Sam a suspect. You know. So then we go from this. They find out that so by deduction, this killer is Quinn. Is Quinn.
Yeah.
Because Ethan is with them and Officer Bailey is also with them. So yes. Quinn has to be the one to kill Gail's
boyfriend?
Whatever. Look.
Her piece of ass.
Look,
her bit on the side.
We throw those out. We throw the physics of
chocolate,
somebody being small
cake,
or whatever. Wow.
What was it Freddie
He's
said?
black.
How
Okay, he's
sweet.
black.
Dark meat.
I
like,
know.
what?
I think he makes like a soul food joke too. Soul food for my
God.
boy.
But
or
he
whatever.
also gets
You're
he's
black.
the one
You
that
know,
gets
it's basically
technically answers the phone call. But it's Gail's phone call.
Randy.
Yeah. No. Because you said like that phone call was originally for Gail,
yeah,
but
Gail
Randy answered it.
Gail still has a landline.
Yeah, like what? What?
But I don't know. I love how prepped Gail is. Like that's the thing. I love how like this is her sixth.
She put
time doing
Ghostface on hold.
But she
I
did
loved it.
She did what Jada said.
Yeah.
Bitch, hang up and star 69 his ass, and
Yeah.
she did.
Yeah.
So he calls, and it's just like, oh, it's the killer, and you can tell that she's just kind of like, give me a fucking minute. Like takes her earrings out.
Yeah.
And stuff, you know. And then we get it called out. It's like we've never been on the phone. Like you've never actually gotten a call from me. You know?
They straight up call it out.
So this is the scene I had been praying for since 3, honestly, where it's just like, where are the fucking chase scenes? Because those to me are the most iconic parts.
Yes.
Of like
They're the most
Cece
tension-filled parts.
Cece's chase, Drew's chase, you know, the chase all the way through that fucking mansion, all the way through Woodsboro, the set in 3. You know, those were like a core part of the Scream franchise is good chase scenes. And Gail, to me, has probably, to me, the most tense scene in the whole series in Scream 2, where she's in the college and she's going through like the sound recording room and stuff, and like that's when Dewey dies in that movie, quote unquote. And then she's just sitting there with Ghostface like trying to break the window. It's like, that's so scary.
Yeah.
You know? And then we got it again with this. And there's a couple of lines in this that really, really stuck out to me though, where like he's really, really just like taking the piss out of Dewey or whatever, and she's kind of like she's really not having it.
Bitch had a fucking gun and she was ready for his ass.
Yeah.
Or Quinn's ass, I should say.
Well,
Her
seriously
ass.
though, like, and again, another example of something I love, which is a kill in the background.
Yeah.
You know, while she's on the phone, her boyfriend just gets like pulled off screen.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's a shark moment. It's
It
like
is.
straight up jaws come up, grab you, you're gone. Yeah.
And he's out of the picture. And then they're having this really, really, again, just really, really good dialogue. And you kind of do forget that Gail has never had a phone call.
Yeah.
But it's like her personality is so like confrontational that she's really not like intimidated by it at all, and she's not taking it, you know. And then her boyfriend just gets thrown through her like what I assume is like a $75,000 like shelving unit, you know. And just this Ghostface is athletic.
Yeah,
he leaps all the way across the room and jumps over the couch and is chasing
he does
her.
the whole knife cleaning thing.
We'll get to that later. But just this chase, and it goes all the way out into the balcony. Now, I thought she was going to get CC Coopered. I thought she was going to get thrown off the balcony.
No. Didn't get that one bit. I was like, no, she's throwing shit in front of him.
Nathan, what did I look like during this scene?
Okay, so if you can imagine a child being shown Barney the dinosaur for the first time.
Being raped. Sorry.
I mean, like, I think you drew breath from the moment the phone call was made.
Yeah.
And then you didn't breathe again until the paramedics showed up.
Because I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if Gail was going to make it.
You were
through this
bent
scene.
forward. I think you had your hands clasped under your chin.
yeah, right over my
like,
face
you
and
were
stuff.
just, like, fully, like, tucked forward. You didn't care if you were going to get thrown from that seat in any way during the 4D screening. But, like, you were just totally bent forward. I don't think you sat up or sat back until that scene was completely
Until
over.
she was guaranteed alive.
Yeah.
I
That
was
was
terrified.
fucking nuts, bro.
I was terrified.
If
'cause,
she
like,
had died, what would you have thought?
they gave her a good scene on the way out.
Yeah.
You know, I think like Aisling had the same problem as I did with Dewey's kill, that it felt unceremonious.
Yes.
That it felt kind of like, oh, I mean, like, look, you had to kill one of them.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't upset that Dewey died. I was upset that Dewey died in
the way
like,
he did.
like that.
Yeah.
You know, now it was a cool scene. It was a really, really cool scene because, like, with Dewey's death, because we get like double blades and he's gutted from the front and the back, and he's like lifted up off the ground and all this kind of stuff. But it just seemed a little bit like unspecial or something. But with this, I'm like, okay, if they're gonna kill her, at least we got like a 10-minute long chase
Knife fight.
scene.
Yeah.
And she fought.
Do you mind?
And she fucked him up Like, oh, she fucked her up. But Gail got stabbed like a bunch of times.
She gets stabbed, I think, at least 4 times. One is in the arm.
One is in the chest.
She gets in the chest. She gets one on the side of her arm. She gets one in the belly by a glass shard like this fucking big.
And I think she gets a slice too.
Yeah.
I was so scared. I was just like, oh god. But the chase scene was great. I'm like, look, if they're going to kill her, at least she got a great scene out of it.
Yeah.
But it's just the chase all the way around the apartment, all the way outside the apartment to the balcony.
Yeah.
All the way along the balcony.
She puts up a good fucking fight.
Back in, and then she gets into her safe room.
Yeah.
And she's like getting the... I'm like, that's so responsible. It's the fact that she doesn't just have a gun on hand. She has a gun in like a coated box or whatever like that, you know? And while still on the phone, she just shoots. She just shoots through the door or whatever like that. And it's like, you might have missed. Or did you get me? And I'm hurt. And I'm on my way back downstairs. And all this kind of stuff. And she's like she just doesn't fucking care.
Yeah.
Like she reloads, opens the door to go out and check. And the whole time she's on the phone with the gun pointed out in the room.
Yeah.
And again, makes some little offhand joke about like, oh, like some good all those muscles did, you know? And then the cuntiest thing... She just like, would you hold on a sec? Puts Ghostface on hold, star 69. Hears the phone ringing outside the front door and shoots.
I fucking love it.
It was so good. It was so good. And then Ghostface bursts in, and this is where like they have a little scuffle on the floor, and I really thought she was gonna die.
Yeah,
I would have been so sad. And then this is kind of our first big mention of Sydney, where everybody shows up because they're on their way over already. Oh no, Ghostface gets shot or something, and like the kill is interrupted
and gets away.
How does he get away?
So there's a door in her apartment that's an emergency escape door, that leads down, and it makes sense because in tall skyrise apartments, every apartment has an emergency escape door that leads to
it's like your back door
stairs.
kind of. Okay, yeah.
So it leads to a stairs that just leads directly down.
I've seen in Sex and the City when Carrie's going out with Big and Anastasia comes home. Carrie like sneaks out of this, and then Anastasia chases her down the stairs and falls and breaks her face.
Because it's a way to it's a way to avoid using the main corridor or the elevators. If in emergency,
like
just go straight down this door, and you can only access it from the inside. So this person left through that escape hatch door thing.
Okay, then that answers that question for me.
But what doesn't answer a question for me, which actually does irritate me, was a note that I had about people surviving these things. Now, as you said earlier, the rule was that anyone could fucking die in a requel sequel, right?
Okay.
So what irked me was, and I think I have it even written down here, was if you're doing a Scream sequel, requel, fuck everybody up. It happens enough times for me to look at it with a more analytical eye and say... commit to taking the shit or get off the toilet. If you're gonna fucking really fuck someone up, kill them. Kill them. Yeah. Because what happens to Mindy on the train, and what happens to...
I thought she was dead.
Yeah. And then, what's his name? Tara's... Chad.
Oh my god, he gets butchered.
He gets butchered, and he's still alive.
Now listen, so
what
did
fucks
Dewey.
me up...
Dewey survived 3 movies.
No, I suppose that...
Dewey survived 4 movies.
Yeah, and then dies. But I suppose the point was, at this point in the movies, or this sort of sequel trilogy, I want you to kill people. I want you to... Now, don't get me wrong, this movie is filled with people getting murdered. Don't get me wrong.
I think it has a higher...
But the main cast relatively stays intact.
Core 4 is alive.
Core 4 are still alive.
Now, I thought Mindy was dead for sure because
Gail is
she's
still alive.
surrounding.
Sydney is still alive. So from the kill count of the previous film, those who survived the previous film survived this film as well. By proxy, right?
Yeah,
so
I guess.
what I look at it from this is it's very much a shit or get off the pot moment. It tells me that at a certain point in this movie, the writers were like, we had confidence to do it.
People would be mad at us if we kill Gail.
Yes, and then they were like, oh, we don't have the confidence to do it. We've got to pull back. Do you know what I mean? So, like, it just tells me that there's not enough confidence there, or there was confidence and then there wasn't. They turned their tails and ran.
Can I tell you what I think that is?
Yeah.
I think that if Sydney was still in this movie, Gail would have died then.
Yes. I'm telling you that here and now. I agree with you on that.
And I wouldn't have minded that. You know, again, I said it a million times, Gail is my favourite character, but that doesn't mean that I'm above sending her off in a really, really epic way. Yeah. Or, like, if it was like a bloody standstill where like she kills a Ghostface and then dies.
Yes.
Like, if we had found out, like, one of the killers in this...
Yeah.
In that scene,
it would have pulled it off
because
really
and to think about it, like, none of the killers were connected to the character's knowledge until the end, and they were all still present. What
I thought was really would have been a very interesting twist Gail would have found out that what's his name, Ethan, was, let's say for example, if he was in that scene as the murderer, and she finds out that it's him, right, and then she dies without getting to tell the rest of the crew who it was, right? It would have been so interesting to see the train scene take place.
Knowing,
do you know what I mean? Knowing that he is the murderer. Do you know what I mean?
Or even, like, if... like,
considering the amount of Ghostface on that train. You know what I mean?
Now, if in that scene, because Quinn and Ethan, to me, are kind of interchangeable because they're kind of henchmen to the main Ghostface, who I think is Dermot Mulroney, who I don't actually think kills people in this movie. I'll have to see.
He does. He kills Jason at the beginning.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. He's the one who says, who gives a fuck about movies?
But I think if we had found out Quinn or Ethan in that moment, it still wouldn't have spoiled the whole plot, even for them. I think that would have made them kind of relax a little bit.
I think if it was Quinn, it would have taken away... Oh, maybe, because it would have still worked, because Quinn's death follows this scene.
Yeah. Her death.
Quote-unquote death.
Like, that still could have been could have been Annika
exactly.
or whatever it is.
Because at this point, you didn't know it was 3 killers at once,
and we didn't know that and all 3 killers are present nearly at all times. But we don't realize that they're all related.
And it could have kept you guessing.
The
whole time.
I think it would have made the cast kind of be like, okay, we got one.
Yeah,
you know, because up until now they don't know that there's more than one killer.
Yeah, true.
You know, so but. Literally sitting here, I literally reached over to Nathan and I was like, I'm literally grasping my pearls right now.
My pearls are tight in my fists.
And it was like, we got a faint beat. I was like, they're not in my asshole. Okay, she's alive. We got a live one, you know. And then we lead into what I think has very, very quickly become one of the most memorable scenes in the franchise. Yeah. The apartment scene.
Really?
Nathan, it's a big deal. It's a bloodbath.
Yeah, so...
It's very tense. It goes on for 20 minutes.
Yeah, so my problem, my gripe with this scene was the fact that Le Boyfriend took so long. I'm sorry, at a certain point, if you realise after the first 20 to 30 seconds that you can't get red-haired Quinn's attention, that there's a fucking murderer behind it. Now, I know, obviously... they're related, and she was probably saying make sure he sees you, blah,
and she would have heard him and just ignored it anyway. So what's irritating is had I known that was not working immediately, A, I would have picked up the phone, or B, I would have ran outside, because they were literally, he did call them,
but they weren't picking up, and if they weren't picking up, their doors are practically opposite each other. I would be out my front door and
apartment
banging.
Building around like this, though.
But that's what I mean. That apartment door and his apartment door were practically a U-shape from each other. Yeah. Boy, just fucking run around and bash that door down. Seriously.
I guess.
You know, I mean,
does it ruin the scene for you, though?
No, not particularly, but it was just one of those glaring things that I was like, why didn't you just do that in the first place?
Well, I remember thinking, because again, we didn't know Quinn was in on it or anything. Yeah. I remember thinking, just pick something up and throw it at her window.
Yeah,
you know, or make some kind of attempt or whatever. Because I'm pretty sure. Oh, it is. So the layout of this apartment, from what I can kind of remember, is they can see his bedroom window from their kitchen window, but then Quinn's bedroom is right by the kitchen / living area. Yeah. And again, another kind of off-screen thing was when that's happening, who's the ghost face in that scene?
So my idea is
Ethan isn't there. It's Ethan.
Ethan, yeah. So she, and you even pointed it out very smartly, is she's banging Le Boyfriend, and she kills him off screen, dumps his ass in the tub.
But we are to think it's her getting attacked. Yeah. But it's him struggling against her.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
It is very, that was, in my opinion, that was so very smart.
And it's scary.
It is, yeah.
You know?
Because quite literally, on the other side of the door, they're all sitting down to whatever spaghetti and meatballs they're having.
Yeah.
And they're quite laughing about it, and she's probably cutting his fucking head off.
He's
and,
like butchered in the bathroom.
Butchered. Yeah, exactly.
Just the idea that there's like, but there's 2 ghost faces in that room.
Yes.
You know, so it's just this poor dude just getting like fucking slaughtered in the next room.
Oh.
And I do think
you wouldn't have mind though if it was Mulroney though.
No.
You would have been like to have been twisted on a
Get over here.
rotisserie stick.
Yeah. Dismember me. Honey.
Throw me in the bathtub.
Seriously, I want him to pick me up by both my ankles and swing me into a wall. You know?
Why is it that whenever you talk about having some really good sex, you're like, you get so violent with it?
That I think he's so sexy that I would let him do these things to me. You know?
Oh my god.
You know, if he ate a crisp sandwich in bed, I wouldn't mind.
Oh.
But because he's so sexy, you know? I would let him have sex with me with his socks off.
Ooh,
That's a big
okay,
deal for
okay.
me.
Yeah, that is a big deal.
I have a white sock fetish for some reason. I don't know how much of it is a sock fetish as much as I hate feet fetish.
Yeah.
You know?
You are not quitting Tarantino, that's for sure.
Nor.
I
would
drink,
I would drink tequila off Selma Hayek's foot, though.
I would too.
It's Selma Hayek, you know? But,
Come over
also,
here, put your boobs on my head.
every time they fucking show Uma Thurman's feet in those movies, they're always dirty.
Yeah, there's a slight yellow
They're
tinge to the
nasty.
nails.
It's just a callus.
Yeah.
You know? Or like even in fucking Pulp Fiction where like before we even see her, where she's like, okay, let's go, and she like bends her little foot like that. There's like I can tell you've been walking around the house barefoot. You know? And then her creepy ass foot when the wiggle your big toe in Kill Bill, you know? Jesus, oh my god, I know you've been in a coma, but like come on. Somebody couldn't have given you like a pedicure or something when you were sleeping.
Anyway.
Sorry. But yeah, so this scene, I mean, it's not technically a chase, but it is a full-on attack.
Yes.
Like, in the whole thing. And then, so they're hearing all this happening. And then, they're like...
Mindy gets, how do I say it? Like, she gets jabbed in the arm with a knife. And she is, when I say profusely bleeding, there is a waterfall of blood coming out of her arm.
Dark blood.
Yes, that you know
Ashley
that
said
when
she was like, that's a femoral artery.
Yes, exactly.
You know?
And then Annika, she gets fucking
gutted
slowly, disemboweled, bro.
But like the very opening of the door where they're all kind of like. So she's getting attacked in there.
Yeah.
You know, and then Sam goes to get. There's no knives. All the knives are gone.
Oh yeah, they're all gone.
You know, which I thought was kind of cool. You know, she gets thrown through the door, and that's what opens it up, and that's how Annika is like pinned down at first, and then everybody's just kind of like. I don't know. I think they did it very well because like anytime I look at stuff like this, I'm like, "There's 5 of you."
That was on my brain as well.
Why aren't you all like just jumping on?
Yeah.
But because at any given time, 2 ghost faces could intermittently switch out. Mm-hmm. You know.
Yeah.
But then the group splits. Yeah. So Chad and Tara
go out the front door.
Go out the front, and then they get locked out, so they can't go up. But then they realize halfway down, they're like, nobody's with us.
Yeah.
Like everybody's still up there, so they go back up and try to get back in, and they go into Quinn's room and
they're bleeding out on the bed.
Yeah, and they find the boyfriend dead or whatever like that.
It's so great.
Which to me, I'm like, is she just crazy? Because there's no reason for her to have killed him to further the plot. She just killed him.
She just did it for the fun of it.
Or was it to like to have distraction? Yeah, I suppose. So then this is when they see Danny from across the way, and he's
I've been waving at you this whole time.
Hello,
fuck's sake, man.
Answer your fucking phone, girl. So then they're kind of like, what the fuck are we gonna do? Like we're trapped. And then Mindy has like literally one of those, like a dresser drawer up against. I don't know why I'm pointing. You guys can't see. She takes like a dresser drawer, and her and Annika are like pushing it up. Or no, Annika gets gutted in the before they get into the room.
Yeah.
She gets stabbed, and he's just pulling
up on her.
And
it's like she's wearing like a crop top thing, so you can see like the separation of
holding
skin.
In her guts, like
yes, oh my god, it was so good.
Time she's literally just like this.
Yeah,
and she's kind of like, I'm like, okay, she's dead at least.
Yeah.
I thought Mindy was also dead in this scene, but then I thought we haven't got the train scene yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's like. For all intents and purposes, she's gutted, and she's just holding him in.
She was good,
and
but she had crystallite. And now Annika's the lesbian glamazon bitch ready for the runway.
Ready for the tarmac. But
tarmac was like, fall on my face.
But we got a thing that I can't remember when was the last time we got it. We got a ghost face reaching at the door, flailing about, which I always love. It's I don't know, that always
it's very psycho.
Yeah, very Michael Myers kind of.
Yes. Yeah.
I thought we were going to get a Shining shot, and I was going to be pissed, but we didn't.
Did you even? I think you whispered that to me as well. And I was like, "No, give us a fucking Shining shot."
Well, it's like there's a bedroom, there's a door, there's a white door that could be split in half.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want that.
Yeah.
And so Danny like reaches across a ladder, like across the thing. I thought it was really smart, but also
it is smart. But that thing could very easily bend
you could
in
see
the
it.
middle.
It was like flimsy. Like it wasn't like some big industrial thing. It was just like a ladder that you use to paint your ceilings or whatever. And the shot of we get similar to the Stu Macher house reveal shot where we get like a pan out and up.
Oh yeah, I
you just see how
it.
high up it is, and in 3D it really.
She's like what,
to
3 stories, 4 stories up?
At least like enough to guaranteed kill you.
Oh yeah. You if you fall down, just imagine an egg cracking in half on the floor.
You're fucked. You're Humpty Dumpty. You're fucked. You know,
you ain't putting yourself back together after that.
Now Humpty Dumpty
had a great fall.
Wasn't an egg. They don't ever say that in the nursery rhyme.
Really?
Say it real quick.
Humpty Dumpty
had a great. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. But you always think of Humpty Dumpty as an egg.
Wow, that's weird.
I know, right? So, Melissa...
Tangent, St. James, La Larry, Dupree, Delacroix, East Saint Laurent, Scaparelli.
.com.
.uk.iu.
So, Sam, who has kind of become the protector of the group, she's like, you guys go first. Like, get the fuck out of here. I'll hold him back, whatever. And then Mindy's like, no, you go. And there was like a really small moment of Mindy being like, no, I got this. And for some reason I was like, oh God. Because it's like, I don't know. I think like part
lesbian.
of it, dyke. But
there's a reason why she cut her hair short.
But it's D-I-E-K.
Oh my God.
I thought that, I don't know, part of the like basis of why I think I like these movies so much is because they really do focus on like relationships and friendships. Yeah. And I always really like that in movies. But Melissa goes across, or Sam goes across, and she gets there, and then they're kind of, Annika is like, no, you go, like I got this. And we kind of get the sense that she's like relegated to dying. Yes. Like she knows she's going to die. Yeah. But I feel
she's like in order of like character hierarchy.
I
mean, it's sort of the like throw your hands up and just be like, you might as well be the next on the chopping block. Do you know what I mean?
like sixth in the credits, you know.
Yeah.
But
and you're the last to go across the obvious ploy that you're going to tell you someone is going to fall.
But I think she could have gotten across if she like hadn't gotten
freaked out. Yeah.
But she was sitting there, and it's scary as fuck because she's sitting there Mindy gets across and is across, and they're just like, come on, get the fuck across here. Yeah. And just like piece by piece, Ghostface is just like breaking this door down, and we see her sitting on the bed, and she's like, it was really sad because she's like, she acted her fucking ass off in this part.
Oh yeah, she's felt so for
upset
her
and scared. And she's like, I don't want to die. Da, da, da. But as we're like focused on her, you can just see in the background, like out of focus,
Ghostface is just door down,
breaking the door down, and she gets on the ladder, and I'm like, is she gonna make it across here? And she gets like. If she had climbed like one or two more, she would like they could have grabbed her.
Yeah.
You know, and then Ghostface does this like epic fucking like he's just fucking with them, which just slams the knife into the window still, and then just it's the King Kong thing.
Yeah. You know? Oh my God, yeah.
And then just like tosses it off, and she splats out. Like her head is like, it looks like it's been like shot by a gun. Like her head is just like, her eye is all like exploded and shit, and we see it all. Oh, it was such an intense scene though.
It was great though.
It was very, very good.
Loved it.
Yeah. I think it'll be one that like kind of goes down in the franchise.
Oh yeah. For sure. What isn't going down in the franchise though is Mindy's death. Well, quote unquote Mindy's death.
That just scared me.
Marco, if you're listening, if you ever pick up the YouTube channel and you listen to this, can you not, you know I'm recording my podcast, can you not turn on your bike doing whatever bullshit you're doing? Thank you. I'd appreciate that. So you know what's not memorable is Mindy's apparent death.
I thought she was dead for sure.
It's like, don't get me wrong, I know obviously that her fucking arm was she had been gutted, but like what was going on in her arm was like not enough to tell me that she had died, or that she was going to die. But this scene, considering she was only jabbed in the stomach and it was twisted, but
there was a lot of knife twisting.
There was a lot of knife twisting, but like it was not enough to tell me that she had died. She had been deaded.
Now
so,
listen,
like,
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I thought this was her scene.
So I think you're wrong.
No, but I thought this was her death scene.
Yeah.
For sure. Because, like, I don't know, I thought, like, okay, they're going to go with the public scene, kind of, because she's the Randy. She would have been killed kind of in plain sight, really. And, I don't know, I thought there was going to be more stabbing or whatever. And she was smart to be distrustful of Ethan, because he wasn't around when any of the killings were happening, even though he's roommates with Cuba Gooding Jr. And yeah, he just wasn't around, so they really do keep him at arm's length. And even when they're on the train together, she doesn't stand with him.
Yeah, she stays away from him.
And
can we just talk about all the cameos that we see in this?
Oh, it's so cool!
I was obsessed. I think we were grabbing each other like every few seconds. Oh my god, it's here! Pinhead, all the classics. Dracula, the Creature of the Black
Michael
Lagoon,
Myers. We get Samara Weaving's character from Ready or Not. We get a Chucky. We get George. Excuse me. Can I finish? We get Georgie from It. We get Sadako.
Pennywise. We get Sadako. We get Florence Pugh's character from Midsommar.
We freaked out for
so
that.
Good. We fangirled
we get a
so
Babadook
hard there.
in the background.
We get a Babadook.
Yeah,
great.
Confirmed gay.
Loved it.
It was so good. It was everything that I would want Halloween to be in New York City. Whoa.
Well, that's straight up hell.
Hi, sorry. It's Gail Weathers with Top Story. It's Lee Willen with Bottom Story. We good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
I'm just readjusting my penis.
It was just everything that I wanted from like a New York Halloween moment. We get a Michael. Yeah, one. We get a great shot of.
We're getting so comfortable. We are over 2 hours now.
I don't care. I'm
just a good fucking time with this.
I also haven't spoken about this movie with anybody.
Oh, you're just spilling your guts to me.
I am, but like I have. I've just like kept it all in, and like I haven't been on. Like I've seen the discussion boards, but I haven't been able to just like because nobody else I know has seen it. And because it's brand new, it came out only less than a week ago.
Yeah.
Came out 2 days earlier in Europe than it did in the US. But there's just this great shot of Ghostface standing like right beside a Michael Myers where I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
I appreciate all the Easter eggs that was put into this. Just this one scene. One scene. So many Easter eggs that like... And I'm sure we've probably missed a few. But we will definitely go back into that scene and just see what we can see, because I think that's a cool thing.
I'm sure there'll be things you missed in Scream 6 or whatever.
Oh yeah.
There's also this channel that I watch. I'm blanking on his name right now, but he goes through on like who killed who in the Scream series, and he had it's actually fascinating. For the first movie, he had a diagram of each kill, like a bird's eye view, like a blueprint of like Casey Becker's house, and shows like the placement of where everybody would be at what time. So he does that for each movie. I'm really interested to see it for this movie. But I definitely thought Mindy was gone in this scene, because I thought it would be more like brutal, and it wasn't. But then like it's fair in New York, because she's sitting there and there's a person sitting right beside her when it happens, and
they're just passed the fuck out,
and nobody does anything. Even though it's a packed train. Now the group gets separated by Danny, because he tries to like make everybody like hurry up then splits off or whatever. Which again makes him suspicious. There's a lot of red herrings in this movie. But then, so who would this have been?
So I believe this was Quinn. Because the first thing that I view is obviously, now it could have very well have been Ethan. It just could have been hidden well in the editing.
No, I don't think so.
But I think it was most likely Quinn,
because she technically doesn't exist anymore to these people.
Because at the time, Yeah, like she's presumed dead. She was practically left in the apartment,
and it's a fake body.
Yeah,
Dermot Mulroney calls out, or at the end, it's a fake body,
which also tells me that it can't have been Mulroney either, because he was in the police station at the time. Because he makes the phone call saying that Kirby's a mental psycho chick.
Oh yeah, then it has to be Quinn.
It has to be Quinn.
Yeah,
and I really, really liked it, but I just think that it wasn't enough for me to believe that Mindy had died. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think it was strong enough.
Yeah, after seeing the whole scene, I was like, okay, she's gonna be fine. But I thought she would have been, like, guts spilled.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that's how the scene was gonna go. But I loved the tension in this scene between the two groups, because
It was for quite a while.
I believe this is Halloween night, because it's when everything is going down.
Yeah.
But the two groups obviously are separated, and they're kind of like trying to hear from each other or whatever. And they're going through, it's very Predator 2. In the subway, where it's like they'll go through a tunnel and like it's all dark, and then we just get to see a Ghostface like be here and then here and then here, and just the fact that they're all like on their guard because there's like 10 Ghostfaces on this train.
Yes,
you know, and it really is like, who the fuck is it? You know, because at any time there's a Ghostface like right here.
Yeah,
you know, how would you even deal with that? You know.
Yeah, like, I suppose, like, it's going back to that questionable action at the beginning at the house party. It's like, are you not, like, freaked out by the fact that there's a ghost face here?
I think she is. I think she's kind of starting to have a panic attack.
Yeah.
Because she's technically alone, because she's not considering Ethan part of the group. There's even a news report where I think it's once Sam's... or we didn't even talk about Sam's fucking psychiatrist's kill.
Oh, yeah. So he dies.
But it's
he's
really
watching
cool.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
The OG.
You're next. That was also so on the nose.
That was a big
I have
Wes
seen
Craven
that
moment.
so many times
That was
in
in
different
Gremlins
horror
and
movies.
stuff.
Yeah, you're next.
That
next.
to me was a big Wes Craven moment.
Yeah.
You know, and then he just gets stabbed through the nose, like through the nasal cavity.
I love. It reminded me of Valentine.
Yes, I can see
the fucking
the silhouette in the door.
The silhouette in the door. And that was broad daylight. That happened in daylight.
It was gorgeous.
Oh,
though.
it was great.
So
It's a good shot.
There's a lot of really beautiful imagery in this. There's a lot of what I can imagine will be people's screensavers in this movie.
Yeah. Especially yours.
Well, seriously. Oh wait, what the fuck is my screensaver at the moment? Oh,
the one that definitely
man.
looks like you.
Yeah, of course. She has a good opinion of me. My sister.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is where everybody's kind of like, they're like, right, we're going to the shrine. This is where they're going to make it into a quote unquote kill box.
Yes.
So this is where everybody's supposed to be meeting up, and they're waiting for the rest of cast and crew to be behind them.
And then Kirby does the exit stage right.
I'm gonna go over here, you know?
for no reason other than just to leave the other two on their own, because it's never explained why.
But she did that a couple of times in the movie where she was like, I gotta go take this, and then kind of exits out of the scene. So that's why I was kind of like,
which is why I was like, that's so... It is, in my opinion, it's the writers quite literally looking at you and winking. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just feels too obvious to be like. And then I was disenfranchised at the point where Mulroney does call from the office and says, hey, look, listen, she's a nut job, she was taken off the force. Like,
yeah, it would have been too cheesy of a reveal.
Exactly. Like,
yeah,
I just like I think he said something along the lines of like, her not being able to deal with the trauma of being stabbed, having to live in fear and blah blah blah.
She's
that,
spiraling.
Like, she's spiraling, and she was acquitted and all of this type of thing. And she's like
I was outsmarted by a Scream movie. Nice.
You know what I mean? So like, I did think it was like, it was too much of an obvious
bit on the nose.
It was too on the nose. And the fact that she did that, like, after locking the door and then exit stage right, just kind of like confirmed it in me that I was like, no, this
you know what I would have thought
it's not
is,
the tea.
I would have thought,
had she been a murderer, I would have been annoyed.
I think we even said that like in the cinema, where it was like, don't do that.
Yeah, don't even go in remotely in that direction.
But like, I really like again, I just want to walk around this room so badly, and just because it's all the stab
this
posters,
museum of memorabilia,
and I like that they keep coming up with new stab posters every time, because like in between each movie there's a new stab movie. But like, everybody gets there
based on a previous Gail Weathers book.
Starring Gail Weathers. Yeah. But directed by Robert Rodriguez, the first stab movie is. But so everybody gets there, or without Mindy and Ethan, and then they find out that they've been locked in. But even the first time they go to the shrine, Sam goes up to Billy's thing and she like puts her hand on the thing, and Tara's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
It's an audible eye roll for me. Now you see, this is a problem. Now this is one of those things that I do really want to talk about. Because Berrera's character gets more screen time, she begins to fall into this will she won't she thing.
I that was totally a red herring though, because there's no way logistically she could have done any of the kills.
Oh, I totally agree with you. But like this whole, for the third of the trilogy's franchise, of the franchise's second trilogy, I do think this will she won't she thing
they need to be gone.
It needs to be gone, because like there's too many times where I look at that and I go like, that has been done to fucking death. If you dare go in that area, you better fucking really sell me that shit. Because what they tried to do in the last fucking Halloween, we even spoke about this, what they tried to do in that last Halloween movie failed miserably.
Yeah.
It needs to be done correct. It needs to be done from the very beginning, which technically they did hint at, but it's not being done in a way. It's like, I don't need a fucking Skeeter Ulrich fucking Force Ghost telling me that you're a nut job. I want you to take my knife and penetrate people.
There was a cool moment though where like when she's like seeing him in the thing and he's like, this is fucking cool. You know, because it's like basically a whole shrine to him. Like his costume is right in the middle, you know? Yeah. Also, it's a very quick side note.
I don't need it.
This is the first time Scream 3 has been referenced in any of the movies. When they talk about Roman Bridger, they never bring him up in any other movie or even mention Hollywood or anything. It's his mask that's left at Quinn's body. It's Roman Bridger's mask, which I thought was so cool. I'm like, okay, love for Scream 3. I don't care. I love that movie.
It's probably next to 4. It's probably my least favorite movie.
I can see why people think that, because like the first two are. Do you know what it is? I think it's the It Chapter 2 thing where because the first two are so good, it like pales in comparison. Yeah. But what the fuck are we talking? Oh, okay. So Tara and Chad have been kind of will they won't they for the whole movie. I think it's cute. I think it also kind of makes sense because they were friends in the fifth movie anyway. It's
and they
kind
do
of
the whole by the popcorn counter. What was it? They were like, I think it was Duds
by
or
the,
something.
like the concession stuff. Yeah, this dusty ass box.
Oh my
of things.
god, who the fuck? They even commented. They were like, "Would you really though?" And we're like,
"Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I really would." Yeah,
but like, it's weird. It's kind of easy to forget that she's part of that OG friend group because she doesn't spend a lot of time with them in 5, even though like she's the Sydney of their group, you know, and Sam is technically an outsider. But this scene just comes out of fucking nowhere, and it's the first time we get 2 Ghostface on screen at the same time in costume. And
I think they practically just walked down the stairs next to them.
Well,
they might as well have just been like tapping the knife down the stairs and just been like, "Hey, we're here."
No, this is one scene that I have rewatched again and again on like YouTube and stuff like that. People recording with their phone.
Nerd.
No, I have, because it has one of the coolest fucking things I've ever seen. So there's a scrap with one Ghostface and Chad, and they're kind of successfully fighting him off, and then they're about to leave, and then Chad gets attacked from the left with another Ghostface, and then there's 2 Ghostfaces on screen in costume, and he gets stabbed 30 times, and which again, look, that's realistic because you can survive that many stabbings. I think it's more unrealistic that if you get stabbed once in the gut and then instantly keel over, that to me is unrealistic because you don't just die from a stab wound straight away like that.
No, you don't. You die from bleeding out from a stab wound, not the stab wound itself.
Exactly. So I think it is
sorry,
feasible
not the
enough.
stabbing itself. The stab wound, yes. Stabbing, no.
Exactly. Like, or like if you get shot in the chest, you don't just die like this.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's a whole bunch of things to go.
There's a whole process. Your organs have to shut down. Blood has to stop going to the brain, and that does take a few minutes.
It's like 7 minutes for your brain to completely shut off. Mm-hmm. But he's basically kind of sacrificial lambing himself, where he's like, go, because they're on me.
I think I even pointed this out to you. I was like, but they're still standing
Would
there.
you fucking run? Get out of here!
Like, the man literally is telling you to leave as he is quote unquote dying. And you're still standing there.
No, I
You're
was
still standing there when he is dead, and then they turn their attention to you.
For some reason, it is a very emotional scene though, because like this is the first time they actually kiss, and they're like they're actually going for it or whatever.
One of the core four has quote unquote died.
Oh, but it was so
Two
adorable.
two of the only people of color in this movie who have died.
Sam and
quote
Tara
unquote.
are people of color. They are.
Okay.
Excuse me. Pardonnez-moi.
Shifty eye looking side to side. White people.
But one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a horror movie,
You
period.
practically orgasmed over this.
Now listen, so did you, because it was fucking cool.
Yeah.
So did
I
Ash.
think I was like this. I was like, oh, they're gonna do it.
When they turn around from stabbing the shit out of Chad, they both do the blade wipe in sync. Oh, it's so cool. It's just, I don't know, it's one of those things that just made like all the synapses in my brain fire off. I was just like, oh my god. That was not only seeing two Ghostfaces at the same time, just like fucking going at him. Oh, it was so cool. It was so fucking cool. And then I blacked out. My head had hit the wall. The girl was too stunned to speak.
You have fainted in your chair.
Oh no, seriously, it was almost too much. Like,
I
just
will
couldn't
say
handle it.
that was another thing about the 4D is anytime there was a stab, there was a jolt
in the back. That was
with
cool.
it. I thought that was so good.
Actually, that took her out of it.
It gave me a little bit of like at first I was like I don't know how to explain it. I was just like, oh, it kind of feels like someone is nudging or kicking the back of my seat.
Ash said that she was pissed that it was like a cock tease because it felt like a massage had just started. Or every time a phone rang, the whole seat vibrated, and I was like, that's actually kind of nice.
Yeah.
So then they kind of split off, and this is where like everything is going down. And to me, this is where I thought we were about to get a Ghostface cult reveal, because I was like, wait, how many fucking ghost faces are we looking at?
Yeah, we started to get like really confused as to who was showing up where and for what reason.
And then there was definitely 3.
Yeah.
But because of where they were jumping out from, I was like, is there 4 or 5?
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And kind of everything in this movie, especially the shrine itself, to me said we were going to get like 9 ghost faces in this movie.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad
we were all Stu. All clones of Stu saying they're gonna be so mad at me.
But that's exactly how I would fucking feel about if they did that. He's dead.
He's
gone,
dead.
Y'all.
He's dead. Move on.
But yeah, we get like this nice chase through, and then we get this kind of moment of them being like, so they're kind of pinned down, or they're not pinned down, they're cornered.
They're divided. Each person is looking at a ghost face.
Yeah,
and then Mulrooney shows up.
And then he shows up, I guess.
This was actually something that sort of took me out of it, was the whole Billy's mother of it all.
I didn't like his acting.
No, it came across as, no, he was trying to play this sort of like unhinged.
Oh, I'm crazy!
Like, oh, I'm crazy!
I'm so spooky!
Oh, I could jump over here! I could jump over there, but you don't know what I'm gonna do!
Do you know exactly what he was acting like? Do you remember in The Simpsons where they did the shin?
At least Billy's mother did it really well.
She
played
looks
unhinged
but
really
well. She wasn't like, oh, I'm creepy, you know. But you remember in The Simpsons where they did the shinning?
You want to get sued?
Don't mind if I do. You know, that's how he was acting. Like he was almost
that.
like twitching one eye. And
Yeah.
It's
like doing a little muscle spasm.
I could have done
neck.
with like a little bit less of
just
that.
Just tone it down to maybe about 20%, and he would have been okay. Had he just like kept maybe the smile with like a serious attitude rather than like just pull off Billy's mother again. If you're going to try and go for that kind of unhinged run, pull off Billy's mother. Take some notes from that actress, because she did Unhinged really well.
Yeah,
she was like
scary.
She was like straight up, like she was scone faced, but her eyes were like bulging out of her face.
It's that what is it,
senpuku,
that Japanese thing where you can see the white above and below somebody's iris, which is like creepy looking. It's like it's like a weird psychology thing. People are really creeped out by it. But it's just, and on one hand, I'm kind of used to the idea that like the killer reveals in Scream movies, they suddenly are just like, and now I'm gonna act completely differently to how I was always acting.
But
this one in particular, I was kind of like,
It took you
Relax.
out slightly. Yeah.
Just like chill
like
out.
you're killing people. Chill. You've got them cornered. Okay.
Like I already know you're psychotic.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
need you to like spell it out.
I don't
know?
need you to be foaming at the mouth while you're pointing a gun at her.
Can't you tell how evil and psychotic I am,
Exactly.
bro?
It was a little OTT. It would have been something that I would have seen in a pantomime. Like, that's what I equate that to.
Yeah, it was too much.
It was too much.
But I don't mind the reveal. I don't mind
No,
that we
neither
actually
did I.
have a full family of ghost faces, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. Which again, like, sort of hints at that more kind of over-the-top cult moment that we thought was going to come along.
Well, he technically is.
It is, because
You
like
know?
what he did was
That's
he
4
was
ghost faces from one
Richie
family.
indoctrinated his
Amber.
dad.
Oh, yeah.
And then his dad in turn indoctrinated
The kids.
the kids.
Yeah.
And also, can I just point out that the dad was like literally like, he was my favorite son, so fuck off the rest of my siblings.
But they panned to Ethan, and he was kind of like, oh.
Yeah, he was slighted
My
in a way. And I was like,
firstborn
oh.
son. I was like, oh. Okay.
There's no connection like your firstborn. You're like, oh.
I'm standing right fucking here, bro.
Shitting on your kids, bro. What the fuck? Yeah, it was sort of sad.
But the whole time when they revealed that, can I open
Oh,
that
yeah.
window very slightly?
Yeah.
Very
Also,
well.
Kirby was stabbed. We forgot about that.
Stop.
Oh, of course we forgot about it because the
Okay.
writers also forgot about it.
But like the whole when
because she was pointing a gun at him, I think, because they were doing this whole, no, she's the crazy one, no, he's the crazy one
because she pops
moment.
out from behind a screen.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, the theater stage I thought was really cool because we just had like all these like home video versions
Oh,
of
Richie's
old
like
kills.
videos and
Because
stuff.
at first
yeah.
they showed it was Casey's death, but
Yeah.
like his home movie version of it, and I was like, "That's not Stab. That's not Heather Graham." You know, I don't even know you, and I dislike you already.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, "That's not what it is." But then I thought the whole backdrop of having Ghostface projected on the screen and then kind of like with flames and all this kind of stuff, I just thought it looked really like epic.
Yeah, yeah. It
something.
was a very Inglourious Bastards moment.
And
type
I am
deal.
the Ghostface that's going to do it.
I am the Jew who's going to do it.
Ooey, Ghostface. But like this was something that I felt was lacking in in 5 was like it didn't feel big enough, but this to me felt epic and it felt like
Yeah.
a part of a bigger story.
Yes,
And
it felt like a lineage connection that was worth bringing up.
exactly
you know?
it felt like it connected into the series more.
And this is where you get that moment of him talking about, like, he was talking to Amber online, he was talking to loads of people online that were how do you say it, like, that were interested in the same thing as he was, which were the Woodsboro murders.
Yeah.
And that were also, of course, because we were hinted at from Kirby, that she specifically deals with the cases of Ghostface killings.
which to me implies that there's
More.
more than the movies have shown.
Yes, exactly. So, like, this, again, this is coming as a prediction. I want a cult of Ghostface.
Yeah.
You know, it's a big fucking... It would be an epic idea to do that.
And I think it would
You imagine an army of ghost faces? What the
Honestly-
fuck are you going to do with that?
Honestly,
You
I
know?
think it would be so cool just to see like 10 Ghostface on the screen at
Yeah.
a time, you know? Or, like I was telling you the other day, the original ending for 3, now this is when Stu was the original killer, was the mansion chase goes down the same way that it, or the mansion like massacre goes down the same way it does in the
Yeah.
third movie. But at the end, all the victims get up and put on Ghostface costumes.
Ooh.
Like as a reveal, like Sydney and Gail and Dewey all see that happen.
Yeah.
You know? And then it's just like, fuck, what do you do?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, Kirby comes out and she's like, we do get this it's the Randy Stu thing of like, no, he's the killer, like of like, fuck you, you're both crazy kind of thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, no way, because she's like covered in blood. But yeah, she was attacked off screen.
Yeah.
And like that's why she wasn't there. But then once
She just got clubbed over the head by a frying
took her
pan.
wig off. But then like
Her hair is like deflated because of the impact.
no, it cushioned the blow. I'm fine. You know, she was shot point blank in the back of the head, and it just, ding. You know, like when Superman gets shot and they all just bounce off or whatever. Cav
So
art,
much-
the new piece.
Yeah. That is going to be a post. I am going to edit Kirby's hair.
wigs.
Wig on top of wig. Wig-a-rama!
Seriously though, it's like a loaf, like a big ginger minge loaf, you know. But
Oh my God.
so when Officer Bailey reveals himself, the only thing I was thinking was like, who are the other two? Who are they?
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck is it? What's their, like, I feel like
Yeah.
that's what you always do.
Because
in these
there's no
movies now.
way that he immediately jumped out of Ghostface track.
No.
There's no way. So there has to be at least one more person, and then the other Ghostface walks into the room.
Like, what's
so
the
then
connection?
we're confirmed it's three people.
And then we
at
just
that
get
time.
that great shot of the three of them standing there, two in costume, one out of
one not,
costume.
yeah.
And then when Ethan pulls off the mask, I was kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
But like, I don't come to these movies for the like, oh my god, it was
yeah.
Mr. Crothers, the man who owned the cemetery. You know, and I, like the Scooby-Doo element of it is like not what I come into these movies for.
Yeah.
So I wasn't super let down. But I was kind of like, okay, why though? Like, what's his connection? And then Quinn pulls off the other thing, and that did kind of get me because I was like, oh shit, okay. Because we thought she was dead. You know, there was a body. You know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought it was cool. I thought their acting was cool because like they portrayed to me what Ghostface people act like. They weren't like foaming at the mouth or anything. You know?
I will say this final showdown is excellent. It's slapstick in a certain sense. It's harder and more evil in
More
other
raw,
ways.
like.
More raw, more bloody, gory in some parts. Do you mind, Marco? Gory in some parts, fantastic in others, weak in parts,
But beautiful
separated.
also.
Yes.
The setting was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And we get old, like, Scream relics
being used
You know?
as murder weapons
Oh, it
and
was
defense
so cool.
weapons, and that's so
Kirby was
interesting.
stabbed with the same knife that she was stabbed with in the same place. That's
I
so
love it.
petty, you know?
But then again, so is her wig choice.
Yeah, who did she get divorced from on set that made
God
her wear that
damn.
fucking hair?
So we obviously get now this is your quote unquote payoff moment where Jenna Ortega's Tara is holding on to Sam's hand and she's like, "Let me go."
No, they're shot. She gets shot in this and stabbed. These
Yeah.
girls are taking a fucking beating.
Yeah.
There's a really cool moment where they're back to back with each other, and it's like, say you're ready. Like,
Yeah.
you have to be ready. And they both pick up bricks. You know, it's like the idea
really
of them
get
just like
bash your
bludgeoning the
fucking
shit out of.
brains in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool.
And then Sam is faced with shooting Quinn's character.
And she just does.
And she just does straight up through the head, no questions asked. You are dead, bitch.
Which is great. You have the room to do that because there's still two other ghost faces left, you know?
Yeah.
What's the plural of ghost face?
Ghost fi?
Ghost? Yeah. Is it just like sheep? It's just, look at those ghost face over there. You know? Ghost faces. That sounds weird to say.
Yeah. Ghost fi.
It's like how Irish people say Stevens's Day. It's like you would never.
Day.
It's Stephen's Day.
Stephen's Day.
It's Saint Stephen's Day. You know, but Irish people
Because
just
what
say
is it?
Saint.
Stevenson's.
But like, I would never be
Yeah.
like, oh, here, give these. These are Stevens's.
Yeah.
You know.
Steels. Ghosties.
I'm Geo. Yeah.
Ghosties?
Ghosty. Mr. Ghost.
Ghosties?
Madame Ghost.
Madame.
But
Le Grand Dame.
she just shoots the fuck-
Ghostface.
she just. We a ghost face. It's like a reward. That's not even Inglourious Basterds. That's Django, isn't it?
Oh.
It's like a reward. Oh, it is because they're talking about whatever. Can I have a glass of your milk? Sorry.
So Jenna Ortega stabs the fuck out of Ethan.
She's like, "Let me go," and she's like, "Okay," and she hands her the knife as she goes
Billy's
down.
knife, yeah.
Now she gets stabbed as soon as she gets down, but then
She straight up rams that thing through his mouth.
But he makes some kind of like sex comment to her, or whatever, like that, and then she just puts it straight in his mouth and twists it. Now Aisling pointed out something that this reminded her of.
I could not stop laughing.
When Gogo is
Gogo
talking to that man in Kill Bill, and he's talking about buying her Ferrari, and she's like, Ferrari, Italian trash, or whatever. It's the, and now it is I who has penetrated you. It so was that moment,
and
though.
then because like what I would think was she says something like, "Oh, you get to die a virgin" or something like
You're
that.
gonna die a fucking virgin, and she stabs him in the mouth.
Yeah.
Not like, but like into the throat. Like
Yeah.
the whole knife is in his mouth. It's so good.
It was fantastic.
It's just so good.
I loved it.
And then...
Great. It was a good time. That's it. We're done.
Bye. Oh, what it was so good. Or what did she say? She's like, now you have one less fucking brother or whatever like that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
cool.
It's like throwing back like one insult after another. And then she turns out, she goes, now you've one less son.
It was so good.
Oh, it's great.
And then, how does it work out that he wakes up?
No, she jumps on him because the gun is empty and they fall over the balcony.
Oh, yeah, they're both knocked out.
Yeah.
And then they come to. And then this whole time I'm like, how long has Kirby been lying on the floor?
I imagine her just sitting there doing the whole Jack Sparrow thing.
Hello.
And just like, help.
Or like when Zazu gets crushed by all those animals in the Lion King. And
She's like,
hola, hello. Can somebody fucking help me? I'm fucking dying.
And like they're sitting there, they basically don the Ghostface, the Billy Ghostface costume, and she just...
That was so cool.
Like she goes to town on him, but not in the way that is serial killer way. It's more...
Oh, stop.
No, but what
It's
I mean
a
is...
frenzy.
It's
She
a
just like,
frenzy, but like what she does is like, but you still fucked with family. And then she stabs him through the eye as well. I think that's so great because like what happens is Jenna like Tara just comes in, she's like, yo dude, what the fuck?
And they were
But
trying
she
to
goes,
get her to...
but it was kind of cool.
Fair.
Though. Yeah.
But the whole time they were trying to frame her on all these pills. Because like...
Because they were, the whole premise was that they were going to, in a sense, cancel her.
But they were going to
and
make
then
her
frame
wear... Exactly.
for
Because it was
going
Quinn who
crazy.
started the rumor that she was the killer.
Yeah.
And they were trying to make her wear at gunpoint to put on Billy's costume. And Sydney does the same thing in the first movie. She puts on Billy's costume and then turns killer on killer.
Yeah, yeah.
But she goes into a frenzy. She stabs him like 40 times.
Yeah,
it's like this...
Well, she doesn't stab him, she cuts him.
It's like a dance
loads of times.
Because it's this rotating shot of just circling them, and she's just like fucking conducting
him up.
Like a balcony, a symphony all over his body.
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
Oh, it was very good. And then like everything comes out, and then Kirby's kind of like, excuse me,
I'm still alive.
After they're like talking to each other for like 2 minutes, and Kirby's like, bro,
I'm
fuck,
here.
dude. I'm also literally like over here. Like, you guys can
she's like
see me,
lying on the ground.
And then they come out, everything is fine.
And you find out Mason and Mindy.
Okay, now they said that like they physically couldn't restrain Mindy, like she had to be there because she thought that Chad had died, which I get is kind of fair considering she only had like a little slice. I say a little slice; she literally got like stabbed or whatever, but like it wasn't like just like debilitating or anything. Yeah. And then we find out Chad was alive, and on one hand I was kind of like, but then on the other hand I really like his character. Yeah. So I'm not mad at them coming back. And then she's pissed that she missed. She's like, I missed the fucking monologue again.
Yeah.
But then the ending shot of Melissa Berrera, she has Billy's mask in her thing, and it's like, I don't think you can take that.
That's evidence.
Like, also, that makes you look really sketchy. See, this is why I think the Billy plot for her is over, because that's Billy's mask in her hand,
and she throws it,
and she throws it on the ground, and then she walks off, and then we just get this panning shot of like just going up into like the New York skyline, which was really, really beautiful. And I don't know why I always love like the song choice for like Scream credits, because it's always just kind of like, cool, it's over. And I insisted that both of shut up. There was
no payoff,
but there was
no payoff to this that even remotely engaged me.
There was rumor that the end credit scene was going to be Sydney getting a call and picking it up, and that's it. I had to find out.
Insert audible eye roll here.
So what? I would have been pissed if we had left and not seen it. But then...
But you would have seen it anyway later had it actually occurred.
Yeah, but I was already there.
Well, whatever.
Why not watch it? For the extra like 3 minutes of credits.
Yeah, true.
And then the end credits is maybe just being like, not every fucking movie needs an end credit scene. And then it was over. You know? Which I thought was cool. Yeah. But like literally we left the cinema and I was just like... I wasn't disappointed by it. It was so good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a worthy enough installment, I will say.
Yeah.
No,
I've changed my ranking. I'll ask you your ranking of the Scream series, because I think we did this the other day.
I think you're gonna know mine was pretty obvious, I suppose.
I'll go in order of the original trilogy. 1, 2, and 3 in that order. 6, 4, 5.
Mine is 1, 2, as 1
Okay.
and 2.
Fair.
Third in the ranking would probably be 6.
Also fair.
Then fourth in the ranking would be the third movie. Then in the original trilogy. And then 5, 4.
Yeah, 5 just feels like the weakest one to me. It just feels the smallest and the least important, kind of.
Well, but I sort of view the fourth movie as probably the least important because, like, none of the original 3 die in it. And you also just kind of get a self-contained story. It doesn't really... like, if you... I think I even said this, like, if you had to cut out 4 from the franchise... it wouldn't have made a difference.
Well, that's when I told Ash, we wouldn't have gotten Kirby, though.
Yeah, true, but, like, imagine...
Like, it doesn't impact the story,
but imagine, like, the impact that Kirby has in the actual movie. Of the 6th movie. Apart from maybe finding out that the killer's in Gail's house. Do you know what I mean? Like, apart from maybe that one moment, if you had kept Kirby out of the movie, it wouldn't have made a change.
You can even say the same thing with Dewey, though.
True,
you know,
but Dewey actively worked through the 5th movie, and then obviously subsequently
but that could have
died.
been Dale.
That could have been, true,
you know,
true.
Or Sydney could have been there the whole time. Whatever, but like when I was telling Ash, I was like, okay, have you seen 4 and 5? And she was like, I'm not sure if I've seen 4, and I definitely haven't seen 5. And I was like, if you're gonna watch one over the other, see 5, because this is a direct sequel too.
Yeah.
But even then, we still got Charlie's knife, and we still got Jill's flannel and stuff like that. But one thing I did want to see was, like, how did Kirby feel about her best friend being a killer, and how did she feel about the guy she had a crush on also trying to kill her,
knifing her? Yeah,
they don't really go back to that, you know. Also, just very, very briefly, during that little like back and forth that Mindy and Kirby have, where they're going about like horror trivia and like what they feel about stuff, they're looking at the TV, and it's like, oh yeah, if you thought it really killed him, and it's like, and Kirby's like, he's dead, like, confirmed. You know. Yeah We're not getting Stu in the next movie. So that was Scream 6, you guys.
Scream 6, y'all.
I'm very, very, very happy with it.
I give it a solid B.
Yeah,
it's a B.
It was
B
good.
minus
for the 6th installment in a franchise. I think it's better than most.
Still going strong.
Yeah,
still going strong. I mean, like, at most points at this point, Freddy was a fucking joke of
Freddy was playing
thing.
With the power glove in 6.
Yeah,
you know,
in fucking Friday the 13th, like, we had fucking Jason X. Like, I mean, for the love of fucking Jesus,
what? Oh god, Halloween 6 is like the return of Michael Myers. Or no, Halloween 6 is where we get the Cult of the Thorn. Mm-hmm. That movie, objectively the worst Halloween movie.
Yeah. So, like, looking at this from an objective standpoint, looking at it objectively, out of 20 plus years of franchise installments, 26. So, like, you're still going strong, baby. Yeah. Even at your weakest, you were still fucking strong. I gotta say that. Even though there's some movies that I like over more of the others, you're still going fucking strong. And props to you, mama. You did the damn thing.
That's what I always say. Even the worst Scream movie, I still
love still good
because it's a Scream movie.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Still,
exactly.
Like you said at the very beginning of this episode, they're not trying to sell you on something it isn't.
Yeah.
You come in knowing that it's like, it's a fun slasher, and that's all it's trying to be.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It succeeds every time.
Exactly. It's not trying to be anything smarter than what it is. Yo, there's a fucking killer after us. Let's find out who it is and get them.
And
that's all it ever is.
This long for sequels as opposed to us getting a remake. I think
but we won't count that MTV series.
No, but see, in my mind they could, because Kirby says she focuses on Ghostface killings, and I'm like, if they had even made like a very, very small hint to that, I would have been like, that's cool.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
they tied those into the movie. True. Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
but yeah. Do we have predictions for 7? Cult?
I'm gonna say Cult. I'm gonna say
Cult. The mother. I don't think she's gonna be a killer, but she has to be in it.
Yeah, I suppose some sort of explanation is needed there, considering Ulrich is her father.
We have to know who she is, because it's implied
to.
that she's in the first movie.
Yeah. You
know?
So that's going to come into it. I mean, like, again, if we're following the original trilogy, it's family orientated, the next film.
And it's a closing.
It's got to be big. It's got to blow it up. It's got to be a finality to it.
I wonder where it's going to be. I think I said to you I was okay with them staying in New York.
I'm okay with that. I think for the graces of making it more important to some characters than others, going back to certain places with family ties would probably be a good idea as well.
I'm okay with not going back to Woodsboro.
Oh no, so am I, because technically by this time in the franchise, Woodsboro ain't got fuck all to do with this series.
Yeah, Woodsboro's
you know what I'm saying?
over.
Woodsboro is so 1999. So we gotta, and like, again, depending on whether Gail or Sydney bites the bullet one way or the other, I'm sort of okay with it, considering, like, it's pretty much nothing to do with you anymore.
I'm okay with not having any legacy characters, but if it's gonna be the final movie, you kind of have to.
Yeah, you have to have a bookend for their arcs.
Yeah.
Because technically their arcs were, let's say, middle of 4, end of 5.
Yeah.
That was their sort of arc play. And, like, because Sydney straight up is like, I'm not getting involved, I gotta think of my family, I'm just like, cool. You know what, that's fine. We do get that
mention where Gail is talking about Sydney. She's like, she took Mark and the kids and they're gone.
Yeah.
Like, they're safe, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe 7 will focus heavily or more heavy on the true crime aspect. Maybe instead of it being based around the stab movies, there will be like a true crime docuseries or something based on like the Ghostface killing as a whole, or something. I don't know. Even Gail says that. She's like, it's all about fucking true crime nowadays. Like, whatever.
That was hinted at as well. Exactly. Like, and not to mention the podcasts we're also there for too.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Put us in the next movie.
Put us in the next movie. We're fucking awesome. I dare you to.
They're actually shooting as soon as October this year.
So excited.
Which is fine. The first 3 Scream movies were all filmed within 4 years of each other. Like, Scream 2 went into production in 1997.
As the movie was coming out?
Yeah, and it was released in 1997. And then Scream 3 was filmed in 2000. Came out in 2001.
Nice.
Now, prediction for opening. I think Kirby's going to be the opening scene a la Cotton Weary.
Oh, and get shafted.
Because we get a returning character as the opening kill, which has only ever happened in 3.
That's true.
I think that could be cool.
That would be a good idea.
Anyway, don't forget to subscribe and like and all that good stuff.
And
don't give this movie your money.
If you give it your money. It's worth it. Honestly, like, I mean, even if you're not doing the whole 4D thing that we did, like, go for it, because it's a good fucking time. It's a popcorn movie.
Yeah.
It's good time. You're not going to walk out of it disappointed, I'll be fair.
No, I was not upset at giving nearly 20 quid to this movie.
Yeah, it was worth it. And for the experience of 4D, it was worth it.
If you can go and see it in 4D, do. I recommend it. It was a lot of fun.
It's a bit of fun.
I think it added to it.
Yeah. So you've been listening to They're Here
podcast.
We don't say the rest of it afterwards, don't we? Make sure to like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram for some daily updated content. We're gonna have a good time and keep us to date. You'll see what's coming next soon enough.
There's more.
There's more. Wait. There's more.
It's a squeak.